Part 199. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1982. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen got up early in the morning, had breakfast, left Tongla Kaiwan Mingdu Hotel, drove to Yongcheng, and met with Vice Mayor Li. They were all old acquaintances. Needless to say, Vice Mayor Li did not bring his secretary or driver. Instead, he got into Zhang Chen's car and took them to see three places. One was on the mountain across the river, where the weather observatory turned out to be. A weather station is abandoned, and the other is on the riverside, at the edge of the Jiangdong development zone. They confirmed the third place on the spot. It was a piece of land in Shivao in a mountain valley beside Qiandao Lake. To get to Shivao, you had to go through the Xiananjiang forest farm and pass through a tunnel. After exiting the tunnel, you would reach the Qiandao Lake cruise ship. The dock, Shivao Dock, is just across an inlet from the cruise ship dock. This is a depression covered with lush aquatic plants and willow trees. When the water level of Qiandao Lake is high, it will be submerged by water, so it cannot be used as farmland. However, if it is used as a B/U0026B or villa, as long as the foundation is raised by more than 1 meter, it can be used as farmland. There will be no problem. The land is more than 5 acres. Lu Ligan thought it was too big. Vice Mayor Li rolled his eyes at him and cursed. The land by Qiandao Lake is still too big for you. No one else wants this land, and it's only after you, Lu Ligan, come back that you get the green light. Lu Ligan quickly said, "Thank you, leader, thank you, leader." In the past few years, Yongcheng's secretaries and mayors have been changing like a revolving door. Zhang Chen was dazzled by it. After a while, the director of the municipal party committee office or the municipal government office will bring someone to visit him and introduce him as the new one. Everyone was polite to each other, whether it was the secretary or the mayor. Before they had time to get to know each other, the mayor and secretary had already been transferred back to Hangzhou. The deputy positions of Sun Jin and others are quite stable. They have not moved in Yongcheng for several years. Sun Jin is no longer the deputy mayor of Yongcheng City, but the propaganda minister. He has been promoted by half a level because he is the deputy mayor in charge of culture, education, and health. The chairman is not a member of the standing committee, but the propaganda minister is. Vice Mayor Li is also a cotter born and raised in Yongcheng. He has worked his way up from deputy township chief, town mayor, director of the municipal government office, deputy mayor to executive deputy mayor. When Lu Ligan was in charge, he was the director of the municipal government office, who leads the newly appointed mayor, often visits Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen, and it is difficult for them not to know them well. They were old acquaintances, so they talked casually. They hadn't seen each other for several years. When they met again, Vice Mayor Li and Lu Ligan hit it off immediately. Li didn't ask where Lu Ligan had been in the past few years. He knew it was a scar and couldn't be uncovered, but he determined that it was a scar. Lu is a capable person, so when he heard that his Renjia Tourism was going to return to Yongcheng to build a B/U0026B, even though it was just a small project, he welcomed it with both hands. Although the new secretary and mayor are not from Yongcheng, everyone knows that Lu is the founder of Splendid China. Although the current leader of Splendid China is Tan Shuhen, only cotters from Zhejiang, I still vaguely remember that Lu Ligan appeared in the media from time to time and made big news. At the municipal government office meeting, the mayor heard Deputy Mayor Li introduce the situation of Renjia Tourism and Lu Ligan, and said, "Good guy, is this a tiger coming out of the mountain?" Everyone present laughed, and the matter was over, moving on to the next topic. It was already noon when he came back from Shivao. Lu Ligan said that he wanted to invite Vice Mayor Li to Yongcheng Center for dinner. The other party quickly waved his hand and said, "Don't dare, don't dare. Who dares to eat and drink now? You want to harm me." Can I treat you to KFC? Lu Ligan asked. Deputy Mayor Lee said, KFC can do it. When they arrived at the cultural square, the car parked in front of KFC. Lu Ligan asked Vice Mayor Lee whether to eat in or in the car. Lee said, just get in the car. Zhang Chen thought to himself, today's cotters are really careful, as if they are all Li Yong and Lu Cheng. Lu Ligan got out of the car. When only Zhang Chen and Vice Mayor Lee were left in the car, he asked Zhang Chen, where has this guy Lu Ligan been in the past few years? Hunan, change your mind in a place with beautiful mountains and clear waters. Zhang Chen didn't want to say too much and said with a smile. What's going on with him and Tan Shahen? Deputy Mayor Lee asked. The cultivation has achieved positive results, Zhang Chen said. Vice Mayor Lee laughed loudly and said, these two people have finally stopped struggling. If they continue to struggle, their hair will turn gray. Zhang Chen laughed after hearing this. A traffic policeman rode a motorcycle and came diagonally toward them. He slowed down as he approached the car. Deputy Mayor Lee, who was sitting behind him, pressed down the window, looked at the traffic policeman, and then pressed it back down. The traffic policeman who had slowed down speeded up again, and the motorcycle passed by Zhang Chen's car. Vice Mayor Lee said, Zhang Chen, your logistics space is good. Have you considered coming back to build one? I will give you the location closest to Hangzhou in Yongcheng. It only takes 40 minutes on the highway from Hangzhou. Zhang Chen thought to himself that his logistics space in Hangzhou was no longer enough. If he wanted to find such a large area of land in Hangzhou, it would definitely be impossible now. As for the logistics land, on one hand, small ones were eliminated, and on the other hand, small ones were eliminated. On the other hand, cities have an increasing demand for large logistics spaces like theirs. Zhang Chen even thought that he could even move his clothing factory to Yongcheng. Their clothes are now sold on Amazon and Debo.com. Whether the factory is in Hangzhou or not, it really has no impact at all. The resulting house can be used as an expansion project for the e-commerce industrial park. Zhang Chen said, yes, I'll think about it, and I'll ask you for help after I've thought about it. Lu Ligan came back with 2 family buckets and a large bottle of Coke. The 3 of them were eating KFC and drinking Coke in the car. Lu Ligan asked Vice Mayor Lee, when will you become a regular employee? Vice Mayor Lee bit into a piece of finger-sucking original chicken and said vaguely, I don't know. How about you help me go to the organization department to find out? Throwing the bones into a garbage bag and wiping his hands with a napkin, Vice Mayor Lee said, if I become a regular employee, I will leave Yongcheng. To be honest, I really can't bear to leave Yongcheng. Hypocritical, you shouldn't be in politics at all, Lu Ligan scolded. Then what can I do? Go to your travel business and follow you, Lee asked. Okay, I welcome you with both feet, Lu Ligan said, I'm just afraid that you will become addicted to politics and won't be able to quit. Bullshit, Vice Mayor Lee cursed, and then said to Zhang Chen, let's go, take me back, go to the office to prepare, I'm going on a business trip. Zhang Chen started the car and drove Vice Mayor Lee into the city government compound. He parked in front of the building. The 3 people got out of the car and shook hands to say goodbye. Vice Mayor Lee walked into the building. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan returned to the car. On the road, Zhang Chen was about to start the car when his cell phone rang. Zhang Chen picked up the answer, and Sun Jing cursed on the phone, Zhang Chen, I saw you. Is that Lu Ligan the one with you? What do you mean, Zhang Chen, he didn't come up when he got downstairs. Zhang Chen tilted his head and looked through the front windshield towards Sun Jin's office on the 3rd floor. The sun was dazzling on the window glass and he couldn't see anything clearly. Zhang Chen smiled and said, I'm afraid that you have a lot of things to do, so I don't dare to disturb you if you have nothing to do. Stop talking nonsense and come up quickly. I'm in the office, Sun Jin said. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan then went to Chunnan and several counties below Lishui, Kuzhu, and Wenzhou, and ran from the mountains to the sea, and negotiated more than a dozen projects. With these dozen projects, Lu Ligan said, these are the hens I lay eggs on. Soon, they will hatch dozens of projects. For projects like homestays, 3 or 4 are not too many in a county. A homestay only has a few rooms. As long as the reputation of people is established, no matter worry about tourists. Different from hotels and hotels, B/U0026BS are mainly based on self-service for guests. Guests staying in B/U0026BS are bothered by people disturbing them, and they do not need to provide catering services, or just simple catering services. A B/U0026B only requires 3 waiters and 3 shifts. That's fine. Even plumbers only need to recruit part-time workers locally. When needed, just send them via WeChat. In this way, the daily expenses of B/U0026BS are very low. In terms of the revenue ratio of a single room, they are much higher than 5-star hotels. Many 5-star hotels, especially those in county towns, are somewhat bloated. It feels like a fat person. With their occupancy rate, it is very difficult to maintain such huge personnel expenses. Therefore, many 5-star hotels, while still open, become half-baked. Old comrades had already contacted Lu Ligan for these projects, so wherever they went, people basically gave them face. In addition, most people, when they saw Zhang Chen or got his business card, immediately I remembered who he was. I don't know about Professor Zhang, and I have eaten at the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel in Hangzhou more than once. I know that he is the owner of the largest hotel in Hangzhou. After I return to Hangzhou, I will have to deal with him. Everyone is welcome. Be polite. Things went smoothly. After returning to Hangzhou, Zhang Chen was about to start helping Lu Ligan with the design. There was no need to hire Jacques or Jason for such small projects. Zhang Chen still had this confidence. He put, I also take this as a challenge for myself. It had been a long time since he had carried out such a systematic and intensive design. He decided to regard this time of helping Lu Ligan design a B/U0026B as a periodic summary of himself, treating each project like he was preparing for a fashion show in his early years. In that way, a project is a clothing style, and products of different styles are brought together to create a grand spectacle. He only needed to draw renderings one by one. In fact, when looking at the pieces of land on site, Zhang Chen already had a hazy feeling. He needed to dig deep into this hazy feeling and finally put it on the paper. The renderings were handed over to Tan Shahen and the Design Institute under Splendid China, who would then do the structural design. They ran outside for more than a month and returned to Hangzhou for 2 days. Zhang Chen took out a pen and paper and was about to start working on it. When he took out the dozen projects, Lu Ligan came to call him and said, I want to go around Huzhu and several counties and cities below Jiaxing. Zhang Chen scolded, can't you just humming let me go and let me work hard? I feel like an escort. No, no, Lu Ligan said, Professor Zhang's flag still needs to be held by me for a while. Zhang Chen threw the pen in his hand onto the pencil drawing paper and asked, do you still want these projects? Don't be in a hurry, the land has been taken, just work slowly. Didn't I tell you, I want to make each high-quality product, and high-quality products require slow work to produce fine work, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen was helpless. He felt that he couldn't hide. This guy would stalk him. Even if he wanted to paint well, it would be impossible. This guy would keep making noises around him. Zhang Chen sighed and said, okay, can we leave tomorrow? No, tomorrow, leave right away. I've already made an appointment in the afternoon, Lu Ligan shouted. Zhang Chen glared at Lu Ligan, who laughed loudly and said, Zhang Chen, I discovered a problem. What's the problem? Zhang Chen asked. I feel that when we work together, we work well together. It's perfect. How about you come and join our Rengia travel industry, Lu Ligan said. Go away, Zhang Chen scolded. If you don't have enough money, come and get it. If you want to drag me down, there's no way. I don't want to drag you into trouble, I have other motives, Lu Ligan said. What do you want to do? Zhang Chen asked. I want to kiss each other, Lu Ligan said. When Bei and Nan Nan are together, they think of their fathers. Do you think we are two pioneers in their eyes? What does it feel like to be a warrior? After Lu Ligan said this, he was overjoyed, and Zhang Chen also laughed. Really, he felt that he and Lu Ligan really looked like Lao Zhang and Xiao Zhao's father, the two land reclamation warriors. The only difference was that those two, when the pioneer warriors were together, they were never so noisy. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you Tianying 1978, Miss ZZZZZ, for whom Fenglo Li Zhongxiao, so 160403163531329, Fang Xiaoluo, still don't understand, come and take a look, Dong Long Dong, Traveler Ye Buzan, Book Friend 201909271942563991, Book Friend 201711222042038851, Book Friends 2018090622320494, The House Cat with the World in Mind, Yuengzi, Ljiang Misty Rain * Konglu, Nyushan Number 1, Forgot Password and Come Again, Yunlong Frogfish, Suyu Enian, Captain Jim, and How, Romantic Sakura Kinkan Chu, Don't Too Seriousness. Agio, Wanderer Xiaoliu, are not monthly tickets for the impossible world. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1983. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan went out for more than a week and won 8 projects. These 8 projects can be included in Lu Ligan's Family in Ancient Town and Family in Plains series. The 2 of them were sitting in Zhang Chen's office. Lu Ligan said, "That's enough. Now the only remaining places in Zhejiang are Shaoxing, Ningbo, Zhoushan and Taizhou." Zhang Chen looked at Lu Ligan, but before he spoke, Lu Ligan said immediately, "Okay, put away Professor Zhang's flag, I will go on my own and let you go." Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief, quickly raised his hands and said, "Thank you for not killing me." Lu Ligan laughed and said, "I let you go because I calculated on my fingers. If you don't come up with the design plan here, it will be too late. I plan to start the construction of these previous projects as soon as the Chinese New Year is over next year. It is already the beginning of December, and there are still 2 months before the end of the year. Zhang Chen has come up with the plan here, and has to produce formal design drawings, and then go through the construction application procedures. It is already very fast to complete all the procedures before the end of the year. However, Lu Ligan was very confident that in some places, if it was too late, he could apply for it while building it. For such small projects, as long as the relationship is in place, many of them would turn a blind eye. Lu Ligan drove off alone and set off again. Zhang Chen's office finally became quiet. He began to spread out his pen and paper to design. Although it would be faster to use drawing software to design on a computer, Zhang Chen was still used to it. Instead of drawing by hand, he feels that when the pen and paper come into contact, new inspirations will constantly come out. When facing paper and pen, people are more often emotional, and the design things will have warmth, but when facing the screen, they are more rational. Zhang Chen looked at the pictures printed by the laser printer and always felt, there is a cold feeling. Such a design may be very dazzling, suitable for posting in moments, and suitable for internet celebrities to check in, but it is inappropriate. Zhang Chen feels that the design of AB/U0026B must have warmth and make people feel warm. After staying in one, if you think about staying in a second B/U0026B, one of several other people's B/U0026BS, you will become dependent on this brand. Houses can be lived in, viewed, and dotted in the scenery, but in the end they are still for people to live in. Only those who live comfortably will pay for you, over and over again. Those who look at the house never pay for it. Every time Tan Shahen and Xiaofang came, they saw Zhang Chen lying on the conference table drawing, concentrating on it. They both laughed, and Xiaofang cursed. Is there such a thing as using people as bonded workers? She turned around and said to Tan Shahen, you compensate me, you compensate me. Tan Shahen said, okay, tell me, what do you want to eat or what do you want? When Tan Shahen and Xiaofang were sitting there and having fun, Zhang Chen almost didn't hear it and was still concentrating on painting. Tan Shahen nuzzled at him and said to Xiaofang, did you see that your family is enjoying being a slave laborer? Do you have to pay for someone to provide you with such an opportunity? Go, Xiaofang spat, and both of them laughed. Zhang Chen turned his head to look at them. He didn't know what they were laughing at. He turned back and continued to paint in his hand. Zhang Chen's attack was very fast. After he put his whole body into it, he felt like he was out of control. It seemed that he had not degraded yet. His feelings were still there, his skills were still there, and his sensitivity was still there. He was quite proud of himself. Before Lu Ligan came back, Zhang Chen had already taken out the first drafts of the design plans for the 20-odd projects he had gone to see. Lu Ligan called him every day and told him that he had won another project. Anywhere, Zhang Chen would not be able to do these projects without going to see them on site, and he would have no inspiration. Lu Ligan said there was no rush. Anyway, these things would be put in the back and the front ones would be done first. If dozens of projects were rolled out all at once, I would become a humming dog and I wouldn't be able to run away. Lu Ligan is not in a hurry, and Zhang Chen is not in a hurry either. Let him ignore those projects and wait until next year. The design drafts of more than 20 projects were spread out, and they could not even fit on the conference table. Zhang Chen spread them out one by one on the ground, and then he walked around and looked at them. This scene made him I thought of Lao Ju and the first time I saw his work The Battle of Fai Shui upstairs in Lao Ju's studio. Lao Ju is now a world-famous artist. His time abroad far exceeds his time at home. Every time he calls Zhang Chen, Lao Ju is either in New York, Paris, London, or Milan. Lao Ju later created Dunkirk, Normandy, Clash of the Titans and Punic Wars, etc., all of which aroused widespread response. Zhang Chen walked around these works of his. It should be said that Zhang Chen was very satisfied with each of the works individually. He was not inferior to Tadao Ando, Kengo Kuma, and others, these Japanese architectural masters. Like all Japanese products, they are sophisticated, concise, and unforgettable. But at the same time, there are also people who pay too much attention to the details and dazzle of the exterior at the expense of many functions of the building itself. They lose their appearance and lose their appearance for the sake of individuality. In the end, they actually eliminate their own individuality. When many people are like this when you do it, it becomes a new stereotype. The current domestic designers are basically learning to follow this path. They have forgotten that all buildings should be local products and cannot be learned by studying. When Zhang Chen designed this series of works, he took a different path from them. They preferred to make the buildings jump out from the surrounding environment. They are very eye-catching and have a preemptive momentum. In order to match this jump, it is also necessary to add a lot of artificial landscapes around, landscapes that do not match the surrounding environment. Zhang Chen decided to hide these buildings into the surrounding environment. From a distance, they are inconspicuous at first sight, but when you get close and walk inside, you will notice them. It's so meticulous and exquisite that when you move around in it, it feels like a very soft sofa that makes you sink in and not want to get up. Zhang Chen wants to create a series of designs that can be savored. Zhang Chen's idea was gradually formed when he read a large number of ancient Chinese landscape paintings. In those landscape paintings, the paintings are filled with mountains, waterfalls, streams, pine forests, and snowy fields. People in the paintings are small and look a little pitiful, but when you look at the characters in the painting with a magnifying glass, you will find that their postures are so calm and leisurely, and their faces are so free and easy, which is very moving. Zhang Chen believes that in architectural design, we must first find the soul of the building, and then we can look for the appearance of the building. In this series of designs, the soul that Zhang Chen found is hiding rather than jumping. Hiding without leaving any trace, like a cicada hiding among the dense leaves in summer, hiding the building in the surrounding environment. People hide in the building and are very comfortable in this hiding. Zhang Chen feels that no matter how beautiful you are, a house that no one wants to stay in for a long time has no soul. Zhang Chen stood there with his hands on his knees, staring blankly at the design drafts in front of him. He vaguely felt that something was missing. It was not in the design, but it seemed to be in the design. What it was, Zhang Chen didn't know. Zhang Chen walked to the window and stared outside for a while. He saw the Jiangnan Canal below flowing silently, and the people and cars on the ring road also moved silently, like a silent movie. From here, they could only be seen. Above his head, among so many people, no one would look up. However, when he looked up, he could see the blue sky and white clouds, but he couldn't see anyone watching him upstairs. Zhang Chen sees the canal below almost every day. The canal seems to be the same every day, but when he suddenly looks back, he realizes that it has changed a lot. This change is probably due to time. The water in the canal is getting clearer, but there are fewer and fewer boats on the canal. Many boats can no longer pass through the Jiangnan Canal. Their boats are missing not only in the Jiangnan Canal, but also in all canals and even all rivers. Trace. Some are policy restrictions, and some disappear automatically. For example, we often saw ships carrying dung in the past. The cabins were filled with dung. Before the ship arrived, the stench had already drifted over. When the ship passed, the stench still lingers in the air for a long time. It's really a swagger all the way. He saw that in the office building opposite splendid Jiangnan, everyone was busy in the bright lights. Every company, like a family or a person, has its ups and downs, gatherings and separations that outsiders don't know. Lao Ni used to be here, but now he's gone. That Mr. Huang used to be here, but now he's gone too. Chu Tianlin used to be here, but now, Chu Tianlin is in Xiaosha factory every day, and Xiaoan is now in charge here. Every company is just like people. They have a lot of energy. Those who have a lot of energy are still here, busy under the bright lights, while those who have a shortness of breath have become like birds and have sunk into the darkness. Zhang Chen stood in front of the window for a while. His mind was clear, but he couldn't think of anything. His mind stopped like a pendulum. It looked like it was still there, but in fact it was no longer moving. He walked back to the design draft, stared at it, and still felt that something was missing, but he couldn't remember what was missing. The clockwork had completely relaxed, and the pendulum stopped there motionless. Zhang Chen sighed softly. He walked to the sofa and sat down, staring blankly at the teacup in front of him. The lid of the teacup had been lifted, and he was lying on the glass coffee table next to the teacup. Zhang Chen stretched out his finger and pressed it, and the lid of the cup flicked. After making a circle, Zhang Chen pressed it again, and the cup lid made another circle. Zhang Chen pressed it again, and the lid of the cup was spinning. The sound made when the ceramic and glass came into contact was a bit harsh, making people's teeth tighten, and a bit dull and boring, making people drowsy. Thank you for your monthly votes from Kankan Shanshui, Zi Zhenyu, and Book Friends 201809062232049334. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1984. Zhang Chen stood up from the sofa, walked back to the design draft and looked at it for a while, then turned around and walked away. After walking a few steps, he suddenly felt a chill in his heart. He turned around and walked back. He understood in his heart that he knew this. There is something missing in the design draft. It is indeed a design problem, but it is not entirely a design problem. All the projects here are independent entities. Each one is very small and scattered all over the place. They lack some outline and something that can tie everything together. If there is no physical object, then it will be necessary. There is strength, that is to say, for a brand, there is still a lack of something, a backbone, that can support the brand. All of these items are not important enough, just like a fashion show that lacks key items. A catwalk show without key items has no soul and is not enough to support an amazing fashion show. Without some important items, projects are also not enough to make people's tourism appear rich and full. If the appeal of the brand itself is not enough to connect these projects together, it will be a mess. Zhang Chen walked to the sofa and sat down. He was very conflicted in his heart. He knew what was missing here, and almost at the same moment, he knew how to solve this problem. But he tried hard to get rid of this idea. But it got into his head more and more firmly and hard. The way to solve this problem is for Banmuotian Group to cooperate with Renjia Tourism. Although Lu Ligan had already invited him that day, Zhang Chen immediately refused. At this time, Zhang Chen felt that Banmuotian Group and Renjia Tourism cooperation with the tourism industry is the best choice. The reason that made Zhang Chen hesitate was that he and Lu Ligan had never set up a company together since they first arrived in Hainan. Not only Lu Ligan, but also he and his other friends, Meng Ping, Chu Tianlin, and Han Jiaozulu Bang, Lin Shuwen, Zhang Chen and them are all the same. They have never jointly set up a company, or even had such an idea. They have always been brothers who have worked hard on their own. When there is any difficulty, everyone will try their best to help, but no one has such an idea of tying anyone to whom. This has become a habit for them. It's not that they don't trust each other enough and have a bad relationship, but because they trust each other too much and the relationship is too good. Neither of them wants to destroy this harmonious relationship and cherish their friendship. Everyone has worked hard in the business world, and they know that if there is a conflict of interest, it is likely to damage their friendship. And if they start a company together, how can they avoid no conflict of interest? It is impossible for them to do all kinds of due diligence like Lu Yun and Xiao Fang when they invest in a company, put ugly words ahead, consider the worst case scenario, and form binding documents that everyone will follow. File execution. Zhang Chen and the others couldn't do it. They couldn't settle accounts openly as brothers, let alone say ugly things first. They would swear at each other, but they couldn't say ugly things. And the more this happens, in fact, when the cooperative companies have problems and are in trouble, and encounter difficulties and conflicts, there are almost no means of rescue. Without means of rescue, it means that there is no fuse. Their friendship may soon be broken. Because of this, the circuit breaker is broken, so for them, it is better to avoid this happening directly. For Zhang Chen, another difficulty is that the current Banmuotian Group is different from the past. It does not belong to him alone, but has completed the joint stock reform. If it is still his alone, he does not care, and can even cooperate with him. No need to mention it, just give that piece to Lu Ligan and let him figure it out by himself. But now, he has no way to do this. He cannot give away the group's things, even a needle, to others. At this point, Zhang Chen is very shy and careful, and always keeps himself strictly within boundaries. He even clearly divides the monthly dining orders at the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel below. As long as there is a meal together, one of the people present is his friend, even though it is actually for the company that day. Zhang Chen had to bear this bill on himself and use his own money to make money. It was because of this consideration that he merged the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery and the Yongchengwu Opera Troupe, two units that were definitely not profitable, into the Benmuishan Group to participate in the reform of the joint stock system. These two companies, to this day, he still directly invests himself. He uses his own money for the daily operation of the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery and the purchase of collections. The construction of Lian Yongcheng Center was also a personal investment by him and Tan Shahen. It is precisely because of this that Zhang Chen has a high prestige in the company. No one on the board of directors will object to almost everything he decides. They know very well that everything Zhang Chen does is for the company and all of them. Otherwise, there would be no need to even carry out the shareholding reform of Benmuishan Group. Benmuishan was originally founded by Zhang Chen himself. Zhang Chen now wants to take out that piece to cooperate with Lu Ligan, and the directors of the board of directors will definitely not object. He can completely make the decision. Zhang Chen is sure of this, but in the future, Lu Ligan and Ban Mutian will what should directors do when they have conflicts? Especially his current relationship with Lu Ligan is not just a relationship between friends, but also the relationship between Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan. When that day comes, Zhang Chen will definitely avoid suspicion, let alone what he should do, how to deal with it. Will today's cooperation with Lu Ligan put the future self on the fire? Zhang Chen was therefore afraid of changing his current relationship with Lu Ligan, but after thinking about it, he felt that the cooperation between Benmuishan Group and Renjia Tourism was the best and would be beneficial to both parties. What Zhang Chen was thinking about was customized by Liu. Later, Zhang Chen used the money earned from Liu customization to continue to expand the scale. He bought 4 old bungalows in Shanghai, plus the original 2, for a total of 6. He also bought 3 courtyard houses in Beijing, plus there were originally 4 buildings in total. In Hangzhou, in addition to the 2 clubs in Gentian Power Plant and Yahuangshan Road, we also bought 2 old houses on Geliang Road and Wansongling. These houses were all converted into clubs by Zhang Chen. However, in the past few years, it has become increasingly difficult to build a club. The loss of VIP customers of Liu customization has become more and more serious. The vision of the rich has broadened. They have become more and more independent in their own opinions on dressing up and disdain to listen to other people's suggestions. They used to travel to Europe to work as flying trapeze buyers, and their purchases have become less and less. Those wealthy ladies now fly directly to Paris and Milan and directly become the guests of those luxury goods companies. The original role of brokers in Liu customization has declined. The annual turnover of Liu customization is declining year by year, but fortunately, the assets are growing rapidly. It turns out that the old Shanghai bungalows, Beijing courtyard houses and old houses in Hangzhou bought for 10 to 20 million each. The price of each building is already at least 100 million yuan. The rising housing prices have greatly recovered the declining sales of Liu customization. Despite this, Xiaomi is still unwilling to wait for death. She has mentioned to Zhang Chen many times whether their club can be converted into a cafe open to the public, which can increase income. Zhang Chen has not made a final decision yet. In a flash of thought, Zhang Chen thought that these houses are actually best used to be converted into high-end B/U0026BS. Zhang Chen even thought of the name of the series, which is the Urban Houses series. These houses are being converted into clubs. At that time, it was restored as before. Except for adding necessary bathroom and air conditioning facilities, it basically maintained its original appearance. Among the many people who go to Beijing, Shanghai, and Hangzhou every day, there are always some people who want to experience what the courtyard houses of old Beijing were like, and what the old houses of the Paint Kings and Egg Kings of Shili Yangchang were like. the home of Chen Yi, the chairman of Zhejiang province during the national government, and the house where poets Su Haimo and Lu Xiaoman lived. With just a few modifications, these houses can be transformed into top B/U0026BS in these three cities. As for Lu Ligan's Renjia Tourism, with such a group of high-end B/U0026BS leading the way, his entire brand value and popularity will immediately increase. To improve, these B/U0026BS are the main products of Renjia Tourism and have sufficient weight. Zhang Chen looked at the batch of design drafts and felt that something was missing. It seemed to be a design problem, but not a design problem. Now he knew that this was actually what was missing. Zhang Chen continued to hesitate. He stood up and walked to the batch of design drafts to look at them. He seemed to have finally made up his mind. He felt that this people's tourism industry would be impossible without this piece. He picked up the phone and called Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan was already on his way back to Hangzhou today. The phone rang twice and was picked up. Lu Ligan asked, "What, did you miss me?" "Go away, where are you?" Zhang Chen cursed. "That's right, I'm just rolling," Lu Ligan said with a smile. "I'm almost rolling to the second bridge. We were about to cross the Jiantang River." Zhang Chen said, "Get off the expressway and come directly to me." "Of course, otherwise where else would I go?" Lu Ligan asked. "I'm afraid that a little separation is better than a wedding, so I go to Kyoshi Academy and can't wait to be intimate with my wife," Zhang Chen said. "In broad daylight? Or in the unit? Is there something wrong with you?" Lu Ligan said. "Even if you lend me 100,000 courage, I don't dare to touch that bomb." Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. "How will Tan Shahan deal with you? If you want to kiss me, you'll give me a slap. If you want to kiss me, I'll be kicked off by her," Lu Ligan said. "Okay, stop blabbering. I'm on the bridge, and these are big humming trucks." Lu Ligan hung up the phone. Zhang Chen held the phone and continued to have fun for a while, thinking about what Lu Ligan said earlier. Zhang Chen threw his phone on the coffee table, walked over, picked up the design drafts on the ground one by one, and put them on the conference table. 10 minutes later, Lu Ligan walked in from outside and shouted as he walked, "Why are you in such a hurry to find me?" He glanced at the stack of design drafts on the conference table, exclaimed "Ouch," walked over quickly, picked up the stack of design drafts and started looking at it. While reading, he asked, "Is everything ready?" Zhang Chen said Lu Ligan finished reading the stack of design drafts and read them again with joy on his face. When he finished reading, Zhang Chen said, "How about it?" "It's great, this is what I want," Lu Ligan said. "When I looked at the stack of design drafts, a series of future B/U0026BS appeared in my mind." "It's amazing, Zhang Chen." "Don't flatter me, look what's missing," Zhang Chen said. "I took a look, and there's nothing missing. All the projects we went to see together are here," Lu Ligan said. "It's not about that," Zhang Chen said. "I want you to see what is missing when everything is added up." "Not lacking, perfect." "K, take a closer look," Zhang Chen insisted. "Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes." "Thank you so much, Ronald." Book Friends 2020107333327244, Book Friends 2018081020391345, Winsanliu, Zixi Zi, Deji Lao, Chang and Biwang, Zizhe, My Misty Rain Jiangnan, Little Gatekeeper, Book Friends 202110911113511923, Book Friends 202110901220543921, Book Friends 2018052311285765, Leia Daibao Ei, Robin Granite, Book Friend 201709131435589112 Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1985. Lu Ligan sat down at the conference table. Zhang Chen walked over and sat down opposite him. Lu Ligan picked up the stack of design drafts and reread them one by one. After reading them, he put them down. He thought about it. After thinking about it, he said something, which surprised Zhang Chen and felt that this guy's intuition was quite accurate. Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and said, "It seems that there is a lack of a flagship store. The entire company also lacks ballast." Zhang Chen nodded. "The land at Shivao is big enough. Should we build a flagship store there?" Lu Ligan said. "It's not enough." Zhang Chen shook his head. "What is missing is not a family, but a series. If all your projects are connected into a network, think about it, your network is broken. I'll kill you." Lu Ligan slapped his palm on the conference table and shouted, "I only think about the place surrounding the central government, but forget that the central government has become a gap. If we spread out these projects one by one on the map of Zhejiang, Hangcheng is a big colander." Zhang Chen nodded and said with a smile, "You finally understand. Moreover, only by raising the value of your brand will your house prices not be considered expensive in the eyes of others. You need to have such a series of houses that can the level of your entire company will be raised." Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen blankly. What Zhang Chen said hit him. He knew Zhang Chen too well and knew that since this guy had thought of this problem, he must have also thought of a solution to the problem. Lu Ligan Lepole asked. "Then what do you think we should do?" Zhang Chen sighed and said helplessly, "I have no choice but to be dragged into the water by you." Lu Ligan laughed loudly and shouted, "Okay, please teach me how to drag you into the water." Zhang Chen told Lu Ligan his thoughts. As soon as Zhang Chen finished speaking, Lu Ligan shouted and said it was great. "In this way, we have everything. This batch of B/U0026BS is ours. The prices are high, and the old bungalows and courtyard houses worth hundreds of millions are not more expensive than five-star hotels. They let you stay for one humming night, and charging you a few thousand yuan is not excessive. You can also charge higher prices. Other B/U0026BS do not provide catering. This group of urban homes not only provide catering, but also high-end catering. We now have chefs there, and they are all first-class French. The original service targets of customized by Liu's chefs are not the target customers of these B/U0026BS, Zhang Chen said. In Shanghai, if your family rents by building, there are only 6 buildings in Shanghai. Renting by room, which is only 40 or 50, and there is a dedicated chef service, there is no problem at all. Lu Ligan said. "Zhang Chen, when will Liu customization be merged?" "I haven't thought about it yet, and I'm very nervous," Zhang Chen said honestly. Lu Ligan looked at him with wide eyes and cursed, "What do you mean you haven't thought about it yet? What are you thinking about? Do you think you are an elevator?" Zhang Chen told Lu Ligan his worries, and Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Hey, what did I think, little chicken Duchesne, I will still fight with you." Zhang Chen. "When the time comes, just take the whole thing." "What are you talking about?" "I will fight with you," Zhang Chen scolded. "What I'm worried about is that the conflict will not be between you and me, but the conflict with the people below. The half-acre of land now is not what it used to be. Half an acre of land is now a joint stock company." Zhang Chen's words made Lu Ligan calm down. He felt that Zhang Chen's concern was right. Lu Ligan thought for a moment and asked Zhang Chen, "Can you control the people below?" "Of course," Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan said, "That's okay. As long as you can control it, the two of us won't have any conflicts, and they won't be able to make big waves." Zhang Chen thought for a while and said to Lu Ligan, "Call Tan Shehen and Xiao Fang over. I trust Tan Shehen. If you want to cause trouble, let her kick you out directly." Lu Ligan said, "Yes, I also trust Xiao Fang, let her kick you in pieces too." Tan Shahen and Xiaofang came one after another, and Zhang Chen told them about his plan. The two of them also thought that merging Liu customization and Renjia travel was a good plan. However, this company merger cannot rely on the loyalty of your buddies. We still have to follow the rules. Even if there are any problems, we must deal with them according to the rules, so that everyone will not hurt the harmony, Xiaofang said. Tan Shahen nodded, I agree with Xiaofang's statement. Only by having rules can we not hurt the harmony. Whether it's you or the people below, it's not easy for everyone to get to where they are today. Xiao, Hagen, Erhuo, etc., will you break up with them? It's not worth it. This has been a friendship for many years. Don't fall out and become enemies when you get old, causing the boat of friendship to sink. Yes, it is easier to handle if there are rules. It is clear who made a mistake and whose responsibility is clear. If you make a mistake, accept it calmly. Everything has rules to follow. This is double insurance, which can not only ensure the healthy operation of the company, but also it can guarantee that friendship will last forever, Xiaofang said. What should we do? Zhang Chen asked. Find someone whom both parties trust and who has no direct conflict of interest with this matter. You two will step aside and have nothing to do with anything. Sister Shahen and I will also step aside and leave the entire company merger to him. Handling everything from the early stage asset evaluation of both parties to the late share establishment, including the drafting of the company's articles of association and the formulation of rules of procedure, was all left to him. After the company merger is completed, Brother Ganzi, you will exercise your rights in accordance with the new company articles of association. When Xiaofang was talking, the other three people kept nodding. When Xiaofang finished speaking, the three of them all thought of one person, Lu Yun. She was trusted by both parties and had no direct conflict of interest with this matter. 1. She is an expert in this field herself. The four people looked at each other and laughed. Knowing that they wanted to go together, Xiaofang said. If Sister Lu Yun agrees, I have to ask her to do something. What's going on? Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan asked almost in unison. Hiring her as a company supervisor of the new Renjia Tourism will give the company a neutral referee for its major decisions, Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan both nodded, feeling that this was very good. I'll call her, Xiaofang said. Don't fight yet, Zhang Chen shouted. The other three people looked at him, wondering what he was going to do. Zhang Chen asked Xiaofang, where is Lu Yun today? By this time, she should have returned to the e-commerce industrial park from Brother Lu, Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang said, you call her and ask her to come and have dinner with her in the evening. We told her this in person and she couldn't refuse. She is the best choice. If we miss her village, there will be no other choice shop. Xiaofang said yes. During dinner, the four of them explained the matter to Lu Yun one by one. The four of them asked Lu Yun to take charge of the matter. Lu Yun had no choice but to agree. Lu Yun asked Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen, when will it start? Zhang Chen pointed at Lu Ligan and said, I don't care about anything anyway. Just ask him. Lu Ligan said, of course the sooner the better, not only the company merger needs to be fast, but I am also seriously short of people here. I am the only commander, Professor Zhang, and when I use him, he is still complaining, Li, with the integration of view customization, I will have a lot of helpers. Xiaofang glanced at Lu Ligan and said, are you using him? It's been more than a month since you guys left. Even Zhang Xiangzi said, why has Dad been gone for so long? She can hardly remember what Dad looks like. Lu Yun and Tan Shahen laughed, and Lu Yun said, okay, I will come up with a plan tonight and show it to you tomorrow. The four people waved their hands quickly, and Xiaofang said, Sister Lu Yun, I said that this matter is left to you, and it is completely up to you to decide. How do you arrange it? The two of them can only accept it, and they don't even have the right to question it. There is no need to show them the plan and ask for their opinions. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan both nodded and said yes. Xiao Fang turned to Zhang Chen and said, Brother Ganza's place is simple. He is alone. Whatever Sister Lu Yun asks him to do, he will do it. You have to explain it here. The same is true. Whatever Sister Lu Yun asks them to do, they must do it, cooperate and implement unconditionally. Zhang Chen said yes, I will hold a temporary board meeting immediately in the evening to tell everyone about this matter and explain it at the same time. Xiaomi should also let her start preparing for the finishing work of Liu customization. VIP members who have withdrawn will be cleared. Zhang Chen and Lu Yun said, Lu Yun, I leave this matter to you. Lu Yun smiled and said, it should be. Zhang Chen picked up his mobile phone, called Su Qiaxin, and said to her, you immediately notify all the company's directors in Hangzhou that there will be a meeting in the company's conference room at 8:30 tonight. Directors who are not in Hangzhou also ask them to get online on time and are not allowed to ask for leave. Su Qiaxin said yes, I understand, Mr. Zhang. At 8:30, Zhang Chen arrived at the company's conference room. All the directors were present. Directors Xiao Wu, Huo, Hui Huan, Xiaomi, and Cao Minfang who were not in Hangzhou were also online. When Zhang Chen didn't come in, everyone was talking and asking each other. Why did Mr. Zhang call everyone to a meeting in such a hurry tonight? No one knows the outcome. After Zhang Chen came in, everyone shut up and stared at him. Zhang Chen told everyone the plan to merge Liu customization and Lu Ligan's Renjia travel and explained the merger in detail. The benefits, after Zhang Chen said it, Xiaomi was the first to agree. She said that Liu customization really couldn't go on and needed to transform urgently. The other directors also agreed to Zhang Chen's merger plan. Zhang Chen and Xiaomi said that you should immediately come up with a Liu customized withdrawal plan for existing VIP members, and communicate with each member to try to get their understanding. If they have any plans in this regard next if they need it, we can continue to provide them with free services for a period of time. After all, we are sorry for them. Xiaomi said yes. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1986. On December 8, Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan went to Tianjin together. The headquarters in Hangcheng was guarded by Li Wei. In the following month, Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan were outside. On December 10, it was the day when users of their Beijing and Tianjin fresh home delivery units were officially launched. They stayed in Beijing for 3 days and then flew to Guangzhou. December 15 is the day when their home fresh delivery unit customers in Guangzhou and Shenzhen are officially launched. On the 17th, they are scheduled to fly from Shenzhen to Beijing. We already have experience in the 3 cities of Shanghai, Hangzhou, and Nanjing. This time we have shortened the time for unit customers and community distribution to come online. This shortened time is mainly left for the sorting workshops and distribution personnel to adapt. 10 days later, on December 20, Xixian Delivery Community Delivery in Beijing and Tianjin was officially launched. Then on December 25, it was the day when the Xixian Delivery Community Delivery in Guangzhou and Shenzhen was officially launched. They had to fly to Guangzhou and Shenzhen again, and when they returned to Hangzhou this month and this year, it has passed in a hurry. At the same time, Home Fresh Delivery will be launched successively in units and communities in Ningbo, Suzhou, and Wuxi. Branch offices in these 3 places have long been established, and the renovation of workshops and personnel recruitment have been completed. What is missing are fresh keeping cabinets. The fresh keeping cabinets are currently being given priority to Beijing, Tianjin, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. Once their community distribution goes online, the fresh keeping cabinets can be sent to these 3 cities. The branches in these 3 cities are affiliated to the Hangcheng and Nanjing branches respectively, and the managers in the 3 places are also responsible for training and dispatching by these 2 cities. Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan arrived at Tianjin Binhai International Airport. Wen Wen and Gu Gong came to pick them up at the airport. Gu Gong had come to Tianjin a few days ago. The warehouse at Banmuishan Beijing logistics base was relatively tight, so they delivered fresh food to their homes. The food factory in the Beijing-Tianjin area has been built in Tianjin. Starting from the evening of the 10th, the food factory here will also officially start operations. When Zhang Xiangbei saw the two of them, he said, "The preparations are so busy, why did you come to pick us up? We can just take a taxi there ourselves." "How can that be done? The two of us here are temporary staff. If the preparations here make it impossible for both of us to leave, what does the general manager here do for a living? He can die." Wen Wen stretched out one hand to shake it with them as a welcome gesture, and held up her mobile phone with the other hand. Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan knew that she was still broadcasting live. "Come on, Mr. Zhang and Mr. Wu, say hello to my babies," Wen Wen said. Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan smiled and waved to Wen Wen's mobile phone. "Okay, dears, the master and the old lady have received the call. The live broadcast is over." As Wen Wen said that, Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan were stunned for a moment before they came back to their senses. They knew that the old man and the old lady were talking about themselves. They laughed, and Wen Wen also laughed. She said, "I didn't say it, it was just my fan who asked me if I was going to the airport to pick up the master and the old lady." When they returned to the Tianjin branch of Xixianshui, it was already 9 o'clock in the evening. Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan had already eaten on the plane, but here, Wen Wen still prepared a meal in the conference room. 4 of the dishes were brought from the canteen, and 2 were cooked by Gu Gong himself. The dishes were already cold, so Gu Gong heated them up in the microwave. Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan were so enthusiastic that they couldn't resist. Looking at the food on the table, Wen Wen pretended to refuse to eat, and they couldn't even see the general manager of the Tianjin branch. He said, "Eat first, and then ask Mr. Bian to come up and report after eating. He is busy now." Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan picked up the bowls and chopsticks and started eating. Wen Wen and Gu Gong sat across from each other and watched them eat. Wen Wen had a walkie-talkie in her hand. When she came back here, the walkie-talkie came into her hands at some point. On the walkie-talkie, someone kept shouting and someone answered. Wen Wen and Zhang Xiangbei said that this thing is very good. I just listen to them screaming, and I can know what is going on below. Although they are not screaming at me, but themselves, but I can listen. Yes, I have liked to use this since I started building a half-acre field base. I don't like using mobile phones. This is just rude." Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan both laughed, thinking that it was a good idea to use the walkie-talkie as a monitor. Wen Wen not only monitors, but also gives orders through the walkie-talkie. However, the orders she gives are simple, clear, and concise, which makes Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan understand what it means to be direct and rude. Someone called Mr. Bian on the intercom, saying that the leafy vegetable cleaning machine was malfunctioning and was running around. Mr. Bian called the manufacturer. "Is Mr. Hu here? Is Mr. Hu here?" Hu Gong replied, "Yes." Wen Wen frowned, grabbed the walkie-talkie and shouted, "Aren't you embarrassing me in front of the 2 bosses? Get it done right now. If you don't get it done when I get there, you will be dead." "I know, boss, I'll be there right away." The person who answered this was the manager of their Tianjin branch, and then Mr. Hu also replied, "I've already passed, boss. The food on the plane is always so unpalatable." Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan just ate a little. By this time, they were really hungry, and they ate with gusto, especially the food made by Gu Gong. Of those 2 dishes, most of them were gone in a short time. Wen Wen asked, "Is the food this guy cooks particularly delicious?" Zhang Xiangbei had learned about it earlier, and Wu Huan tasted it for the first time. She said yes, it was so delicious. Fortunately, he is about to leave, otherwise I would almost fall in love with this fat man. Damn it, I used to hate fat men the most, Wen Wen said. Zhang Xiangbei smiled and said, I know you like frogs. Wu Huan said, you can do it now. No, he has a wife and a son, Wen Wen said, I don't want to buy one and get two free. Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan both laughed, and Gu Gong said, do you think I will want you? I am as immovable as a mountain. Whatever, you can continue to be your mountain. Wen Wen continued to talk to Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan, it's very exaggerated. This guy knows where I am from, and he can actually cook the dishes we have there. My mom is delicious. Gu Gong said proudly, what's the matter? I've been to your place for more than a month. I've been to every village. Maybe I even went to your house for dinner. After visiting for more than a month, I was able to cook more than one dish from that place. Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan still found this a bit magical. Gu Gong told them that it was not surprising. In fact, I had mastered the memory password. Memory the password, Zhang Xiangbei asked. Gu Gong nodded and said yes, memory password, our human memory can actually remember a whole, not a point. For example, sometimes we think of things from our childhood. What you can think of is definitely not an abstract thing. Instead, the past appears in your mind in the form of images, sounds, and smells. Do you still remember those notebooks I showed you? Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan both nodded, and Gu Gong said, that's the memory code, or a switch. I know where Wen Wen's home is, and I can find the things I recorded there at that time. These records are like a switch, turning on that period of experience. I looked at when you record these, you will naturally recall everything there. I think the person who was the first to say that a good memory is not as good as a bad pen must have a deep understanding of this. This is the power of words. Many times, words do not represent the words themselves, but each word, just like each word. The nails have imprisoned many things and years in these words. Every time I have an understanding, I happily forget to eat. This understanding is to read out the things locked in the text. Every time I understand the reasons for the excitement of the past, if they are combined into one, there will be no regrets in the text. Yes, that's why it is said that there are 100 Hamlets for 100 readers, everyone reads different things from the same text. Zhang Xiangbei felt that what Gu Gong said was very reasonable. Wen Wen sighed longly at the side. Zhang Xiangbei asked, what are you sighing for? It's so tiring to listen to this fat man talking. It's better to listen to the strong man talking, Wen Wen said, and everyone couldn't help but smile. When we used to do field work and find people to do oral history, we had to do a lot of homework. This homework was to find a way to find the most critical point from this guy or this incident. This is the switch. The key point has been found. When we chat face to face, you don't need to ask too much, he will remember a lot of things by himself, and the so-called past events come flooding in. He will tell you endlessly that the 80-year-old gentleman lying on the hospital bed, struggling to breathe, can actually chat for 2 or 3 hours, with his face glowing. If I go, my face is still red. Isn't that the same as an aphrodisiac? Wen Wen interrupted Gu Gong. Yes, Gu Gong said, human memories are really like an aphrodisiac to people, so there are so many people who like to write memoirs. I understand, there are women in the memoirs. Reminiscing about them is like watching a Category 3 movie. Wen Wen said that Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan almost spit out their rice. Gu Gong looked at her and praised. You are amazing, and your words always hit the point right away. It's true that when many old men talk to us, they accidentally talk about their previous women, and they immediately light up. But after they finish speaking, they quickly emphasize to us, these cannot be made public. TCH, what's the point? Wen Wen snorted, don't look at how serious and pretentious those people are. When it comes to bed, men are men and women are women. Otherwise, how could they have descendants? Those descendants are all shouting slogans hummed out. The three people laughed, and Gu Gong said, "What you said is completely the destruction of idols." After Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan finished eating, Wen Wen walked to the door of the conference room and shouted. A girl immediately ran over to help clean up. Wen Wen picked up the walkie-talkie and shouted. "Old Bian, where are you? Come up and be trained right away." Zhang Xiangbei said quickly, "No need to come up, let's go down and take a walk first." Zhang Xiangbei said to Gu Gong, "Let's go to your place and have a look." Gu Gong agreed, but no one went to work tonight, so he just looked at the piles of pots and jars. Wen Wen called into the intercom, "Old Bian, is the leafy vegetable cleaning machine ready?" Come on, boss, the problem has been found," Lao Bian called back. "Then just wait there for me to kick your ass," Wen Wen said. Thank you to Tugukaiwu WZF for the reward at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for the flame of morality, ABC 19791205, Leisurely Glance, Lao Chantang, Xiao Xiao, Robin Granite, Earthling Wizard, Really Annoying, Happy 152431, no one uses this name anymore, Zipanjiang 1, Changsha Hughes Hung, Animation Man, Traveler Ye Buzan, Engross 11, ZL 59, Ltself, Lulu 6717P11, That Year A, Dong Long Dong, He Shi Yitan, The Air Is Not Human, Happy Woman, Purple How, Yunlong Frogfish, Cowboy Grandpa, Heartless, Dachuan, Mike Howard, Book Friend 202108140240518886. 201708182135179119, 201703031958399050, 201809062232049342, 20181130105305305944, 2021090122054391, 20190612 monthly votes for 145258714, 11963189776326411024, 2020041621464535, 2017112108323716, 201806210933222406. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1987. This is because the building style and layout of the logistics warehouses in Banmuishan logistics space across the country are the same. In other words, it is not just Banmuishan. In fact, all warehouses across the country are similar. The difference is only in the size of the area and the height of the clearance. Zhang Xiangbei and his colleagues, Xixian Delivery, renovated the branch based on the original warehouse of the logistics space. The layout is also the same. It can be said that the same drawing has been used everywhere. The difference is also in the size of the area. For example, their Tianjin branch also changed the original warehouse to a first floor and a bottom floor. However, compared with the Hangzhou headquarters, there is no dispatch center, service center, technology center, and computer room, so the office on the second floor only has where the top door comes in. A second floor of 400 to 500 square meters is separated as their office area. This pattern is the same as that in Shanghai and Nanjing. Wen Wen led Zhang Xiangbei and the others downstairs and looked at each workshop below. Although there was no official work today, there were still many people in each workshop making final preparations, and there were new ones. The people recruited are being trained. When they arrived at the cleaning workshop, Mr. Bian saw them coming and rushed over to greet them. Wen Wen asked, "Is it done well?" Okay, there is something wrong with one of the relays. Just replace it with another one and it will be fine, Mr. Bien said, turning around and shouting over there, turn on, turn on. Who, a worker sent from the equipment factory, heard Mr. Bien's shout and quickly reached out and pressed the button. The machine started running smoothly. Sure enough, everything was normal. Wen asked. Have you tried it a long time ago and turned it off, deliberately waiting for us to come and give us a show? Mr. Bien smiled. Zhang Xiangbei couldn't help but laugh and asked, Old Bien, aren't you afraid that Wen will kick your ass? Don't be afraid. If she wants to kick your ass, it'll be fine, Mr. Bien said. How could something happen? Wu Huan asked with a smile. If she says I love you to death, then my scalp will be tight, Mr. Bien said. If she says that I really love you to death, then I will die. Zhang Xiangbei, Wu Huan, and Gu Gong laughed. Wen glared at Mr. Bien and said, I really love you to death now. Gu Gong touched his neck and said to Wen, it's a good thing I didn't fall in love with you. What kind of neck are you touching? Wen asked in surprise. My neck feels chilly, Gu Gong said. Go away, I have 10,000 ways to kill you, but I won't cut off your head, Wen said. Blood will be splashed all over me, it's so dirty. It was said to be a look, but it was actually an inspection. After a round of inspection, they found that they, including the Gugong food factory, were indeed ready. Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan were relieved. The group returned to the conference room, which was full of people. The heads of each department of the Tianjin branch were present. Everyone reported the preparations of their departments to Zhang Xiangbei, Wu Huan, and Wen in turn. Zhang Xiangbei and Wu Huan both spoke, encouraged everyone, and thanked everyone for their hard work during this time. The next day, Wen drove Zhang Xiangbei back to the Beijing branch, while Wu Huan stayed in Tianjin. The two of them sat separately, waiting for the arrival of 8:30 in the morning on the 10th. On the day when Zician delivery was officially launched for customers in Beijing and Tianjin, just like Shanghai, Hangzhou, and Nanjing, after 9 o'clock, orders came in like a snowflake. But with the experience of those three places, Zhang Xiangbei sitting there with a calm demeanor, no longer surprised. Wen was shocked. She even started jumping around while walking. While walking, she did not forget to live broadcast, reporting the number of orders received by Zician delivery to her fans in real time. Zhang Xiangbei was sitting in the conference room, and the screen on the wall showed the live broadcast in Tianjin. Wu Huan was connected to him, and the two of them were paying close attention to the situation in the two places. Wen walked in from time to time and said to Zhang Xiangbei, Come on, Mr. Zhang, say hello to my babies. Zhang Xiangbei raised his hand and waved, and Wen walked out. After a while, she came back and said to Zhang Xiangbei, No, my babies said, with so many orders coming in, why do you still look so serious? Are you unhappy? I expected this to be the case, so it's not surprising, Zhang Xiangbei said. No, you must smile, Wen said. Zhang Xiangbei grinned and smiled twice at the camera. Wen laughed loudly and said it was okay. The kids all said that this was the scariest smile in 2015. After the live broadcast stopped, Wen sat opposite Zhang Xiangbei with a walkie-talkie. The walkie-talkie was screaming, and Wen asked Zhang Xiangbei, Is the situation in Beijing really as good as Shanghai at that time? It's still a little different, Zhang Xiangbei said. Wen became nervous and asked urgently, What's different? Zhang Xiangbei said, I was just thinking about this question. With similar order volumes, why is the order amount in Beijing higher than that in Shanghai? Moreover, it is not even a little higher. Wen let out a long breath and laughed, That's for sure. I've expected it a long time ago. We in Beijing will definitely win the championship. It seems to be safe. Zhang Xiangbei was surprised and asked, Do you know the reason? Of course, Wen said, There are many schools in Beijing. Does Shanghai have as many universities as Beijing? Also, can Shanghai and Beijing compare with the same institutions? Shanghai is just a city with 4 groups, and Beijing also has 4. In addition to setting up a team, Beijing also has central ministries and subordinate units. There are so many state-owned enterprise headquarters, as well as several military headquarters. They are the same bank. Shanghai is the branch and Beijing is the head office. How do the number of people in the branches and the head office compare? Zhang Xiangbei suddenly realized that Beijing has more units than other cities and is larger in scale than other cities. It is not surprising that their order amounts are large. Even in terms of the number of orders, Beijing will be number 1, Wen Wen said, and Zhang Xiangbei agreed. By 10 o'clock in the evening, the orders from the unit customers were basically completed. As Wen Wen said, Beijing's order quantity and order value exceeded Shanghai by a large margin, winning a double championship. Tianjin's order quantity and order amount were both Hangzhou is almost the same, Zhang Xiangbei said to Wen Wen. Congratulations, Wen Wen, your first shot has been fired. At this time, Wen Wen was not as happy as she was during the day. She shook her head and said seriously to Zhang Xiangbei. No, all this is still temporary. Whether it will start or not will have to wait for a week or half a month. Why? Zhang Xiangbei asked. Have you forgotten that you told me that in Shaoguang, many Beijing government agencies and universities have set up offices there to be responsible for the purchase of vegetables? Today, there are many units placing orders, most likely just with the intention of purchasing vegetables. The starting point is to try and compare. The test for us has just begun. We are now just standing in the PK position. We will not be truly successful until these units truly recognize us and decide to close all their offices in Shaoguang. Zhang Xiangbei nodded, feeling that Wen Wen was right. Even though she seemed to be careless about live broadcasting every day, she was actually very attentive and thoughtful. Zhang Xiangbei thought for a while and said to Wen Wen, "Don't worry, I think we still have an advantage. These units will eventually cancel their offices in Shaoguang." Why? Wen Wen asked. I have been to Shaoguang and am very familiar with the situation in Shaoguang, Zhang Xiangbei said. Even in Shaoguang, at most the vegetables produced in Shaoguang will be about the same price as us, but the proportion of these vegetables is not very large. Many vegetables are not grown at all in Shaoguang. Most of the vegetables in Shaoguang's agricultural product logistics park are transported by vegetable vendors from other places. There is no way to compete with us on price, so in terms of overall price, we will not be better than those purchased directly by them. Hi, in addition, we have 3 advantages. What advantage? Wen Wen asked. First, our vegetables come directly from the fields and are delivered on the same day. There are no intermediate links and the logistics time is shorter. Compared with the vegetables wholesaled from Shaoguang, there is at least a 20-year difference from ours. For more than 4 hours, our dishes are fresher than what they purchase directly. Zhang Xiangbei said. Wen Wen nodded, thinking that what Zhang Xiangbei said made sense. Zhang Xiangbei continued. Second, what we provide is clean vegetables, while in Shaoguang, the wholesale products are raw vegetables, that is, unprocessed vegetables. Regardless of whether they are institutional customers or household customers, even if the prices are similar, everyone prefers clean vegetables. Or Mackay. Third, I have been looking at the orders from these units. They purchase a large proportion of organic vegetables and pollution-free vegetables. We have a competitive advantage in terms of price and quality of these vegetables. Wen Wen smiled hot and said, if you say this, I feel relieved. Mr. Zhang, are you trying to comfort me? No, on the company's intranet, there are daily wholesale prices of vegetables from various vegetable supply places. You can check Lu Dihuas and you will know the wholesale prices of vegetables in Shaoguang Agricultural Products Logistics Park today. As Zhang Xiangbei said, he pushed the laptop in front of him to Wen Wen. Wenwen opened their company's intranet and looked at it. It was exactly what Zhang Xiangbei said. Wenwen's face was filled with joy. How is it? Do you believe it? Zhang Xiangbei asked. I believe it, Wenwen said. Did you do the live broadcast tonight? Zhang Xiangbei asked. No. Zhang Xiangbei stood up and said to Wenwen, let's go to your live broadcast room. Wenwen asked, what? Today I will accompany you to live broadcast Wenwen's entrepreneurship and answer all the questions of your fans, Zhang Xiangbei said. Wenwen's eyes lit up and she shouted, really, Mr. Zhang? Of course, you have worked hard during this period and have shed tears and sweat for the company. I will also use practical actions to support your live broadcast career, Zhang Xiangbei said. Great, Mr. Zhang, you kid knows how to love people better than your dad, Wenwen shouted. What do you mean? Zhang Xiangbei asked. Wenwen's face turned slightly red. She knew that she was getting carried away and had made a mistake. She quickly said, it doesn't mean anything. I just want to compliment you. You know how to please women better than your father. Zhang Xiangbei still thought this was strange. Wenwen had already walked over, took his arm, and said to him, Nanan still has a good education. Let's go and don't regret it. Thank you, Tin Soldier, for reading the book every day, 2 fishes, 1 above the bottom, and 3rd from top to bottom. No matter who asks me, I don't know the reward. Thank you, baby Tin Soldier, 3rd from top to bottom, free rain and clear sky, Ekin, Alan May, Suyu Enian, running with a smile Y, laughing with sadness I, not impossible world, my Misty Jiangnan, Zongkai 727, Tiger, Dora Eamon, Robin Granite, Void Broken Dreams, Tian Wei Wei Wei, Shi Yitan, Pio Xiaofan, Wuzu, Chuanlin, Lulu 6767 P11, Wind Jungle Spinach, Deji Lao, 8 Liang, Frivolous, Professional Season Formal Wear, Wanderer Monthly Tickets for Xiaoliu, Romantic Sakura Kinchu, Crush Killer. VIP, Fish Eating Brother on the Road, Tian Tian, Book Friends 201808030256355047, Book Friends 1612051930467444, Book Friends 13021415330428, Book Friends 201808241246544421. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1988. Zhang Xiangbei and Wenwen sat in the conference room, and from time to time they stood up and walked around. When they were sitting in the conference room, they also looked at the surveillance screen below and listened to the wow coming from the intercom. From time to time, Wenwen would grab the walkie-talkie and point it inward when talking, sometimes shouting. From time to time she said you are dead or I love you to death. No matter what she said, her face was tense, a little nervous and a little serious. Zhang Xiangbei wanted to laugh while listening to it. I can't laugh anymore. The entire Beijing branch of Zaixian delivery is now a battlefield. Who is worried about laughing? While they were paying attention to every move below, they were still connected with Wuhan and paying attention to the situation in Tianjin. At the same time, 2 battlefields were opened, and the 2 battles were fiercely going on. On the contrary, tonight, Shanghai, Hangzhou and Nanjing has become very far away. In Zhang Xiangbei's view, it seems that it has become their rear area, and there is no need to worry about the rear area. The general manager of their Zaixian delivery Beijing branch is also a woman, her surname is Huang. At about 1 o'clock in the morning, Mr. Huang walked in and told Wenwen that there was a supervisor whose husband was on a business trip and would have to send the child off tomorrow morning. I'm in school, I want to take leave and go back early, but I'm having trouble. Wenwen raised her eyebrows and cursed, today is the most critical day. She didn't know that she only found out today about something that was decided a month ago. Her husband's company has important things and he can go on a business trip. It's not important here, is it? Tell her that there's nothing awkward about it. Just be honest. If you don't want to do it here, get out of here right now. If you want to continue doing it here, she will ask her aunt to come back tomorrow even though her aunt is here today. Mr. Huang went out without hesitation, but Zhang Xiangbei stopped her and said to her, "Ask her where she lives, where her children go to school, what time they will arrive, and if there will be a delivery truck on the way, ask for help to deliver them." Mr. Huang said yes. "As for your kindness, let me tell you, be careful if they try too hard. From now on, let the delivery truck deliver you every day, and keep your husband at home to sleep." After Mr. Huang left, Wenwen talked to Zhang Xiangbei, and Zhang Xiangbei could only laugh. He said, "Never mind him, let's talk about it after tonight." The two of them stayed until about 6 o'clock in the morning the next day, when the last batch of cold chain trucks drove away. The Beijing branch of Xixian Delivery finally passed its first day smoothly, and the two of them got up. When he wanted to drive Zhang Xiangbei to the hotel where he was staying. Zhang Xiangbei said, "No, give me the car and I will drive there myself." "Let's go, I'll see you off. Anyway, I'm so excited now that I can't sleep even when I go back. I can share the happiness along the way," Wenwen said, and Zhang Xiangbei gave up. Wenwen sent Zhang Xiangbei to the hotel, and then she went back to the dormitory at the base. Before getting off the bus, Zhang Xiangbei told Wenwen that there won't be much going on during the day. "You can sleep a little longer. I will call when I wake up and ask someone to pick me up. You don't have to worry about it." Wenwen said, "Okay, I understand." Zhang Xiangbei slept deeply this night, without even a dream. When he woke up, he thought it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He looked at his watch, but it was just after 12 o'clock. Zhang Xiangbei was in the hotel. "After lunch, I did not call back to the company, but hailed a Didi Express myself." Zhang Xiangbei got off the car at the door of Xixian Delivery. "Today's earliest vegetable truck will not arrive until after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. In addition, the dispatch center and customer center are far away in Hangzhou, and there is only one monitoring city here. In the internal distribution dispatch center, every point on the large screen on the wall displays every cold chain vehicle operating in the city. At this time, there were not many delivery vehicles still running, and the equipment in the workshop on the first floor had stopped running. The entire Xixian Delivery Beijing branch was very different from the noise last night. It was quiet, as if it had already I fell asleep and haven't woken up yet." Zhang Xiangbei walked towards the second floor. As he walked on the stairs, he heard Wenwen's hearty laughter, coming through the silence, as if the cock crow in the early morning woke up the few people on duty on the second floor. Wenwen was not talking to anyone, but on the phone. Her laughter was lively and refreshing. It sounded like she had been awake for several hours, and there was no trace of sleepiness at all. Zhang Xiangbei shook his head and sighed at Wenwen's laughter. "So energetic." Zhang Xiangbei walked through the large office area outside and walked into the corridor. The door of Wenwen's office was open and Zhang Xiangbei walked in. Wenwen just put down the phone and looked up to see Zhang Xiangbei coming in and asked, "Why are you here so early? You're still talking about me, what about yourself?" Zhang Xiangbei said. "I was trying to sleep and couldn't sleep. Since the morning, the phone calls haven't stopped, waking me up." Wenwen was happy when she said this, and she didn't worry about being woken up at all. Just as she was talking, her cell phone rang again. She picked it up, said hello hello and laughed loudly. "Really? Really? Thank you so much. Of course, I'll give it to you next time I get the chance. Invite you to dinner. Okay, bye." After hanging up the phone, Wenwen shook the phone in her hand and proudly said to Zhang Xiangbei, "This is the call from my informant. It's the 28th one today. That's great. Informant? Do you still have informants? Zhang Xiangbei was surprised. Of course, I won't wait to die. I have informants in many important client units. If there is any trouble there, they will call me immediately so that I can get to work right away, Wenwen said. Isn't there a dedicated customer service phone number? If there are any matters that need to be handled by your Beijing company, they will be transferred here, Zhang Xiangbei said. Wenwen waved her hand and said, not every customer likes to call customer service. Wrong, most customers don't like to call customer service. When they want to call customer service, the problem will be serious, especially for a platform like ours. If most customers are dissatisfied with our service, a few of them will murmur privately for a while and then stop placing orders. They immediately transfer the order to other places, faster than changing their attitude, especially when we have competitors and similar platforms, and customers have many choices. At that time, everyone will do whatever it takes to grab orders, and use various relationships to attract corporate customers. There will definitely be a large number of favor orders. If we are not careful, we will probably die without knowing how we died. We must know when a few of them first start to murmur privately, so that we can intervene immediately and do the work to ensure that our customers will not be lost. If we miss the opportunity for this kind of thing, we will wait. The uncooked rice in other places has already been cooked. We didn't react until it was too late. Recovering a customer is like a quarrel between two people in love. You must say sorry as soon as possible, and the big thing is over. You can't let it turn into a cold war, let alone both parties being angry, soaking. If we keep it together, we might break up. When Wenwen was talking, Zhang Xiangbei kept nodding. He felt that Wenwen's words were very reasonable, especially what she said about how to respond when a competitor appears. At that time, passive defense is definitely not possible. You must take the initiative to attack, and how to grasp the opportunity to take the initiative. You must know yourself and the enemy, and have a good understanding of the customer's situation. What Wenwen said about informants is easy to understand. It may be a bit too popular and not very pleasant to hear. If Zhang Xiangbei was asked to say it, he would say that it is a service front end. But no matter what the explanation is, this matter itself is very interesting. Meaning, it must be done. Zhang Xiangbei decided to tell Wu Huan later that not only their Beijing branch should be like this, but also other places. No, after a while, it should be. Aunt Wenwen, can you sort out what you said? After the community distribution is online, after you have been busy for a while, how about you give us a lecture? Zhang Xiangbei and Wenwen said, I think a lot of analysis and judgment are very useful and should be promoted throughout the company. Oh my God, don't. Upon hearing this, Wenwen quickly waved her hands and said, I know what to do, but I don't know how to write. If you ask me to write something like that, my head will explode. Please spare me. Okay, when the time comes I will send someone to summarize your experience in Beijing, and you can just tell them like this, Zhang Xiangbei said. That's okay, I'm the best at it, Wenwen smiled. By the way, your informant called to tell you, are they whispering in private today? Zhang Xiangbei asked. Yes, I'm mumbling. The people who called me all have offices in Shaoguang. Wenwen said ha and then said. They received the goods today, and they are praising us privately, saying that if this were the case, there would be no need to set up an office in Shaoguang. You say it's sad or not? There are no directors of those offices who don't accept kickbacks from vegetable vendors. They were dreaming about their big heads, but they didn't expect that our heads would be chopped off with a click. Wenwen was overjoyed as she said this. This was indeed good news. Zhang Xiangbei was also happy when he saw Wenwen. He remembered something and became even more happy. Why are you happy? Oh, yes, you should be happy too. I mean, why are you smiling? You also smile a little treacherously. Wen Wen said. Zhang Xiangbei couldn't help laughing. Zhang Xiangbei said, Aunt Wen Wen, you remind me of someone. Who? Uncle Zhangzi, your perspective on things is always a bit unexpected, but you can also kill it with a fatal blow, Zhang Xiangbei said. Wen Wen immediately waved her hand again and shouted, Don't say that bastard. Oh, I can't say he is a bastard in front of you. Well, looking at the face of you and Nanan, I can't consider him a bastard, but don't mention him. Zhang Xiangbei said okay, he really didn't mention Lu Ligan anymore. Unexpectedly, Wen Wen spoke again after a while. But you are right. Qian and I started hanging out with him. He really taught us many things step by step. What do we know? At that time, we were still two ignorant girls. You said right? But Bai Bei, you are very good as you are now. Don't imitate him. If you want to imitate, imitate your father, imitate Xiao Fang, imitate Tan Shahan, imitate Lu Yun. Just don't imitate him. No matter who he is, do you hear me? Zhang Xiangbei nodded and said, I don't learn from anyone, I am myself. Okay, be ambitious. Aunt Wen Wen, you go and take a rest. I'm here. I'll call you if you need anything, Zhang Xiangbei said. No, if I'm really tired. Wen Wen said, leaning back on the executive chair, leaning her head on the high backrest, placing her hands on the armrests of the chair, and closing her eyes. I can just sit like this and fall asleep for 10 or 20 minutes. It's very comfortable. It feels like I've been sleeping for a few hours. I wake up naturally when a call comes or someone comes in. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you and how, love the color purple, Zhenwu Longyi, UN11, take advantage of the opportunity to find beauty in the mountain home, books are a pack of medicine, Zipanjiang 1, book friends 202009031727593111, book friends 202011091113511923, book friends 201906121452587114, Lao Dibao Ei, Tao Nanshan Weng, Tianying 1978, Fantasy in the Wind, book friends 20181130105305305944s monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1989. Zhang Xiangbei stayed in Beijing for another 2 days. Everything was normal here. Wen Wen and the others were already preparing for the launch of community distribution. Zhang Xiangbei flew from Beijing to Guangzhou, and Wu Huan flew directly from Tianjin to Shenzhen. On December 15, when the fresh home delivery unit customers in Guangzhou and Shenzhen went online, Lin Kunfen, the general manager of their Guangdong branch, would meet with Wu Huan and Huan were watching together in Shenzhen, while in Guangzhou, there were Zhang Xiangbei, Zhou Ruyi, and Sun Xiangyang who had been here for a long time and had been assisting in the preparation work. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang came to Baiyun Airport to pick up Zhang Xiangbei. The 3 childhood playmates and siblings had not seen each other for several months. When they first saw each other, they were stunned. Each felt that the other had changed a lot and had long since stopped. And with that childish look on his face, he looks very mature, smart and capable. Zhang Xiangbei told the 2 people about his feelings. Sun Xiangyang was unconvinced. He said, "You are just a childish kid who just left school. I have already been a policeman for a year." Zhou Ruyi was very convinced. She told Zhang Xiangbei, "Don't say it's you. I had a video chat with my mother that day to show her how I worked. My mother even cried, saying that she had never thought that I would still be like this capable. My dad secretly told me on WeChat that every time my mom goes to pick up food from our crisper, she cries because she is thinking about her daughter and what I did in Guangdong." Zhou Ruyi's eyes turned red as she spoke. Zhang Xiangbei looked at Sun Xiangyang and said, The fat man must be lazy. He's still so fat and hasn't lost any fat. Sun Xiangyang chuckled, I'm trying to keep in shape, okay. Zhou Ruyi said, no, fat people are also very capable. They climb upstairs and downstairs every day. I estimate that they are at least as big as Bifang. It is a miracle that they are still so fat. Zhou Ruyi has been in Guangzhou for a few months, but she has not made it hurts your lungs to become her new mantra. Instead, she has put the word no on her lips. No is omnipotent here. It can mean that she doesn't want to or not. If you don't understand something, you can also express your refusal and disagreement. However, there are still differences between her and the Cantonese people. When the Cantonese people say no, they often end up with a long sound noa and no la. When it comes to Zhou Ruyi, they always use short sounds. Crisp and clear, like fried broad beans popping out of her mouth, no, 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 no east, no west, no heaven and no earth. Zhang Xiangbei smiled. He walked in the middle, stretched out his arms, and hugged them one by one. The three of them walked side by side outside the airport. Sun Xiangyang, who was walking on the right side of Zhang Xiangbei, held the trolley case for him. Zhang Xiangbei took the latest flight to Guangzhou. After the plane arrived, he picked up his luggage, walked to the exit, and met Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang. It was already 10:30 in the evening. Zhou Ruyi asked Zhang Xiangbei if he was hungry. Of course, when I came to you, I didn't have any food left. I didn't even eat the meals on the plane. I only drank drinks. Tell me, what delicious food can you take me to eat? Zhang Xiangbei asked. Are you afraid of the distance? Zhou Ruyi asked. Zhang Xiangbei said he was not afraid. That's easy to handle, Zhou Ruyi said. Zhang Xiangbei was surprised and asked, what do you mean it will be easy? Fatty Sun was laughing beside him, and Zhou Ruyi said, no need to worry, just follow. The three of them walked to the parking lot. Fatty Sun put Zhang Xiangbei's trolley suitcase in the trunk and walked to the front, only to see Zhou Ruyi sitting in the driver's seat and saying to him, you go to the back to accompany Zhang Xiangbei. Zhou Ruyi drove out of Baiyun Airport, walked through the airport expressway, entered the inner ring road, and drove along the inner ring road for a while. Zhang Xiangbei thought he was going into the city to go to some late-night snack street, but he didn't expect that Zhou Ruyi was driving the car. Did not enter the city, but went around. When it reached the Pearl River Tunnel, Zhang Xiangbei finally couldn't help it anymore and asked, what the hell, where are we going? Shan, Zhou Ruyi said. Is it in downtown Guangzhou? Zhang Xiangbei asked, not knowing what Shan was. No, Fanyu, Zhou Ruyi said. Zhang Xiangbei was shocked. He didn't know about Shan, but Panyu knew about it. He knew that Panyu was a county in the suburbs of Guangzhou, and now it was called a district, just like Yuhang was originally just a county in the suburbs of Hangzhou, and now it is called a district. Just like changing the name to Yuhang District, Baiyun Airport is located due north of Guangzhou, while Panyu is located due south of Guangzhou, which happens to bypass the entire urban area of Guangzhou. How long does it take to get there? Why go so far away? Zhang Xiangbei asked Fatty Sunday. Fatty Sun chuckled and did not answer. Zhou Ruyi said in front. Didn't I just ask you if you're afraid of the distance? Now we're halfway there. Why are you so nagging? It's too late to regret. Zhang Xiangbei said, okay, let me ask, how many roads are there in total? It's more than 70 kilometers from the airport to Shan. Zhou Ruyi said, it's almost 30 kilometers away now, is that okay? Zhang Xiangbei said, let me ask again, what are you going to eat? Seafood. No, pig offal porridge, Zhou Ruyi said. When Zhang Xiangbei heard this, he was immediately discouraged and cursed. Traveling such a long way just to have a bowl of porridge? You too, it's too boring. Didn't you get your salary last month? Are you so stingy that you want to send me away with just a bowl of porridge? Are you doing it on purpose? You drink porridge in front of me and cry about being poor. If you don't have money, you can talk about it? Fatty Sun chuckled, and Zhou cursed. You humming think I'm willing to run away? If you Zhang Xiangbei hadn't come here, I wouldn't have been willing to run so far for a midnight snack. Let me tell you, this is our second time. The first time was Lin Kunfen who took us there. Especially it's delicious, so the fat man would say it several times, saying that Zhang Xiangbei must take him to eat when he comes. Zhang Xiangbei, do you have any conscience? This scolding brought out his true nature, and there was not even a single word no. Zhang Xiangbei laughed loudly and said, Okay, Zhou Yi, I apologize to you and thank you for your kindness. Fatty, what's so delicious about this porridge? It's just so delicious, Sun Xiangyang said. Nonsense, why is it so delicious? Zhang Xiangbei asked. Sun Xiangyang scratched his head, it's just delicious, delicious, delicious like that. Zhou Yi laughed in front. Zhang Xiangbei shook his head helplessly. Zhou Yi said, Zhang Xiangbei, you are tall, you will be smarter later. What? Zhang Xiangbei asked. Grab it, wait for the pig miscellaneous goods to arrive, everyone has to rob it by themselves, and it will be counted as much as they grab it. After grabbing it, they will weigh it and tell the store what to do, such as money, ladders, and large intestines. There is nothing on a pig. How many things, if you are slow, will be snatched away in the blink of an eye, Zhou Yi said. Zhang Xiangbei boasts that he is very familiar with vegetables and meat products, including pig offal, beef offal, and haggis offal. But what Zhou Yi said is that Zhang Xiangbei knows that the large intestine is the pig rectum, which is the part connected to the pig's anus. One section, the meat is particularly thick and chewy, and tastes better than large intestine. In terms of money, in ham, it is the part close to the pig leg. As for the heavenly ladder, who knows what it is? Zhou Yi told Zhang Xiangbei that money was not what he said, but the part on the pig's face that connects to the root of the pig's tongue. The latter is the cartilage of the pig's upper jaw, and the pig intestines are the duodenum of the pig. If you don't know these in Guangzhou, you should stop messing around. Zhang Xiangbei, do you know why many old people from Guangzhou come to Pentium to eat pig offal porridge? Zhou Yi asked. Zhang Xiangbei said he didn't know. I'm not Lao Guang. There are many slaughterhouses in Pentium. These porridge shops are right near the slaughterhouse. The slaughterhouse starts killing pigs at 11 o'clock in the evening. When the pig offal is delivered here at 12 o'clock, it is still warm and very fresh, so it is delicious. Zhou Yi said. It's rare and strange. Potion is also pig offal. I ate Dongguo whole pig in Shaoguang. The whole pig plus offal, everything. I ate beef in Hainan. The slaughterhouse is next door. While eating beef, I can still eat it. I heard the cows screaming for dear life when they were being slaughtered next door. The sound of the cow screaming desperately was made up by Zhang Xiangbei, but this way, Zhou Yi was able to be suppressed. Zhang Xiangbei asked, Zhou Yi, when you eat pig offal porridge here, can you hear the pig's killing sound when the pig is being killed next door? No, Zhou Yi was discouraged and said, but you can hear the pig next to you screaming, it's delicious, it's delicious, it's delicious. Zhang Xiangbei laughed loudly, and Fatty Sun punched Zhou Yi on the back of the chair. Zhou Yi yelled Woko and started laughing too. When the car arrived in Shan, after twists and turns, Zhou Yi drove the car to the door of a store. The red light strips on the door illuminated the cursive characters Shan Pig Shi Wang, with two special emphasis on the front. In bold, authentic. There were already cars parked in front of the store. Zhou Yi found a seat on the opposite side of the road and parked the car. The three of them got out of the car. Zhang Xiangbei stood there, sniffing suddenly. Zhou Yi asked. What do you want to do? Want to smell where the slaughterhouse is? Zhang Xiangbei was right. He remembered that on the street in Xianggu, Ding'an, Hainan, he could hear the howling of cows in the slaughterhouse next door when eating beef. He made it up, but the smell of cow dung was real and could be smelled. "Are you stupid?" Joe cursed, while Fatty Sun kept laughing beside him. The three people crossed the road and walked to the opposite side. There were already many people in the store, but everyone was sitting there without eating, and the table in front of them was empty. Zhou Ruyi and Zhang Xiangbei said, "We are all waiting, the pig offal has not arrived yet." Zhang Xiangbei looked at the time, it was only 11:40. The three of them went in and found an empty table. Zhou Ruyi asked Sun Xiangyang to sit here and wait. She took Zhang Xiangbei to visit, and finally went to queue up at the open stall. The back kitchen and open stalls of this hotel are connected together, and they are both semi-open. Standing outside, you can see everything inside. Zhang Xiangbei saw two large stainless steel barrels and pots at the stall, which were bigger than Shaoguang. The stainless steel pot used to braise Dongguo whole pig is even bigger. The two large pots are filled with 2 pots of white porridge. It is boiling. The porridge is already very thick and mushy. I will wait for the pig offal to arrive and add it to the boil. There were already people queuing up in front of the open stall. Zhou Ruyi and Zhang Xiangbei said that the pig offal would be delivered here later and cut up in the open stall. Zhou Ruyi leaned close to Zhang Xiangbei's ear and said to him, "You also grab here, you line up here." Zhou Ruyi walked away and walked to the Ming stall. There was a chef leaning on the wall there smoking. Zhou Ruyi approached and chatted with him. Zhang Xiangbei was surprised. He found that Zhou Ruyi could already use Guangdong. Chatted with the other party skillfully. Zhou Ruyi quickly became familiar with the chef. Zhang Xiangbei couldn't help but smile as he watched. He knew that Zhou Ruyi was building a relationship with the chef so that the chef could take care of them later. After all, it is a dignified CMO and marketing director who is delivering fresh food at home. If he comes here and can't even handle a chef who cuts pork offal in the open stall, Zhou Ruyi feels that it would be too embarrassing. Thank you for your monthly votes for No Future, only remember the original intention, Ming's in, Nian Nian ZZZZZ, Daos Hung 123, Zixzi, Yankai Lighter, and Book Friends 1611222135011799. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1990. When Zhou Ruyi wandered back, Zhang Xiangbei asked, "Did you go flirt with the chef?" "No, I'm teasing you," Zhou Ruyi said. "I told him that I am a reporter and food detective for the food section, and I came to their place to take a look. Our magazine is planning to create a Shan pig list." Zhang Xiangbei smiled and said, "You are not afraid of being hacked to death?" "No, how could I suffer such a big loss if I am as resourceful and brave as I am," Zhou Ruyi said. Zhang Xiangbei shook his head. "Is it worth it to trick someone just for a bite of offal?" Zhou Ruyi said, "It's not worth it for the pig offal, but it's worth it for the pig offal here." The two people stood and talked for more than 10 minutes. A cold chain truck stopped at the door. As if they heard the assembly call, those who were sitting stood up. Soon, Zhang Xiangbei and the others lined up behind them. There was a long queue. The door of the cold chain truck was opened, and blue plastic turnover boxes were removed from the vehicle. The turnover boxes contained baskets of freshly delivered pork and offal from a nearby slaughterhouse. These pork offal were quickly transported. He was moved into the open stall. There were 2 piers in the open stall. The 2 chefs each stood behind a pier and began to cut the meat and offal with knives. In front of them was a table covered with white tiles. There was a row of rectangular aluminum plates on the table. The divided meat and offal were piled on the aluminum plates for diners to choose. Zhou Ruyi took a round aluminum basin and a pair of clamps, handed them to Zhang Xiangbei, and said to him, "Let you experience it. If you don't want offal, just order meat, ribs, pork neck, and noodles. You don't need anything else. You don't know about offal, so I'll order it." After saying that, Zhou Ruyi walked outside the queue, where the old god stood on the ground, looking at the queue. The chef who had just been chatting with Zhou Ruyi also took a round aluminum basin and placed it on a square stool between the two piers under the table. He leaned over and said to the chef on the other pier, "What?" The two people started to cut it, their hands and feet were very fast. A basket of materials was on the head of the pier. It only took a minute or two for them to cut it into the aluminum plate in front of them. The speed of their cutting was actually faster than that of the people standing in the row outside the stall. The few diners who were picking food moved quickly, and after a while, hills were piled up in the aluminum plate. From time to time, they would throw something into the round aluminum basin in the middle. The diners queuing up began to select. After selecting, they took the round basin and left. It was Zhang Xiangbei's turn. He used iron clamps to pick up 2 pork chops, 1 piece of pork neck and 1 piece of pork noodle. As soon as Zhang Xiangbei moved his steps, he was squeezed from behind. He was almost squeezed out of the open stall. It is really not an exaggeration to say that everyone is grabbing meat and offal here. Zhang Xiangbei walked to Zhou Ruyi. Zhou Ruyi stood there with empty hands. Zhang Xiangbei asked, "Didn't you go grab the offal?" Zhou Ruyi said, "No, wait a moment." The two of them stood for 2 or 3 minutes. The chef who was chatting with Zhou Ruyi in front raised his head and looked behind the crowd. Zhou Ruyi saw it and waved quickly, then walked to the side of the open stall and took a round aluminum plate. The basin, this aluminum basin, is placed between the two pier heads in front. Zhou Ruyi came back with a pot full of pig offal and led Zhang Xiangbei to line up for weighing. Zhou Ruyi's hands were free, so she lit the round pot with her chin, and she nodded vaguely. She said, "This is pork loin, this is pork liver, this is money, this is the ladder to heaven, this is rice sausage, this is large intestine. This is the intestine, this is the raw intestine." "What the hell is raw intestine?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. As a native of Hangzhou, Zhang Xiangbei has almost never eaten raw intestines. When his grandmother and grandma go to the vegetable market, they will buy large intestines. The whole large intestines are connected to the pig intestines. The large intestines are plated in the pig's belly. The intestines is the part connected to the pig's anus, sometimes the intestines, and a tuft of hair, which is the butthole. It needs to be cut off with scissors. This is basically Zhang Xiangbei's understanding of pig intestines. They rarely even buy small intestines. People in Hangzhou don't eat small intestines, so the small intestines are made into casings and stuffed with sausages. Zhang Xiangbei had already asked Zhou Ruyi before and knew that the powdered intestine is the duodenum of the pig, the part of the small intestine connected to the pig belly. As for the raw intestine, Zhou Ruyi and Zhang Xiangbei said, "You boars don't have this, only sows have it." Zhang Xiangbei fought back and continued to ask, "Which part of your sow is this?" Zhou Ruyi rolled her eyes at him and said, "Fallopian tube." Zhang Xiangbei felt nauseated for a while. What the hell? When he was a child, he heard that the human placenta is a powerful supplement and very nutritious. His grandmother asked an acquaintance to get a placenta from the obstetrics and gynecology department of the hospital. After it was stewed, Zhang Xiangbei was served. He and Xiangnan ate, but Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan refused to eat anything, and Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao also didn't eat. In the end, they had no choice but to eat it, 2 land reclamation warriors. Unexpectedly, today I would go one step further and eat the fallopian tube of a pig. Zhou Ruyi stretched her head and looked at the aluminum basin in Zhang Xiangbei's hand. She saw the pork chops, noodles, and pork neck meat inside. Noodles are the meat on the face of the pig, which is also the pig head meat. but here, no one calls pork head meat is called pork head meat when cooked. Zhou Ruyi and Zhang Xiangbei said that raw meat is called noodle meat, while pork neck meat literally means the meat in the pig's neck. Pork neck meat is the part where the pig's front hooves and the pig's head are connected. It is the part of the knife when killing the pig. This place is soaked in pig blood, and the meat is red in color. The meat is tender and old, and there is no distinction between fat and thin. Pork neck meat is also called trough meat. In the eyes of Hangzhou people, pork neck is the worst meat and the cheapest. However, Cantonese people have a special liking for pork neck. They use it to make barbecued pork and charcoal grilled pork neck. What they want is fat and thin. No distinction. The process of weighing is also the process of ordering. The person who is responsible for weighing is the proprietress of this restaurant. While weighing, she discusses with the diners to finalize the menu. Both parties speak Cantonese. If you don't speak Cantonese, if you don't even know the ingredients, it will be difficult. Fortunately, this is not a problem for Zhou Ruyi. It was Zhou Ruyi and Zhang Xiangbei's turn. Zhou Ruyi handed over the aluminum basin in her hand. The landlady looked at it and said, "It's still a good thing." Zhou Ruyi smiled and said, "There's nothing you can do about it." The landlady and Zhou Ruyi were chattering, and Zhang Xiangbei couldn't understand a word. Fortunately, Zhou Ruyi kept translating for him or doing a voice-over. They quickly determined that they wanted 2 portions of porridge, 1 portion of raw pork liver and 1 portion of raw pork offal. While Zhou Ruyi was ordering, she still had time to explain to Zhang Xiangbei that if the pork liver is mixed with other pork offal, together, they don't taste good. Pork neck meat is used to make rice rolls, pork noodles are fried in rice noodles, ribs are steamed with black bean sauce, and pork kidneys are cooked in soup. The boss lady asked, "Do you want to add chicken?" When Zhou Ruyi said yes, the landlady took a small plastic basket and reached into the bucket beside her to fish out a third of the basket of white, jujube-like things. Zhou Ruyi and Zhang Xiangbei said, "This is chicken testicles, chicken eggs are chicken testicles." When she talked about testicles, her face didn't turn red and her heart didn't beat. Others in the queue didn't pay attention to it. It seemed that all genitals could be spoken out loud here, so it wasn't unusual. The proprietress threw the pork loin into the plastic basket containing the chicken. They had arranged the ingredients for the 2 aluminum pots in their hands. The landlady asked Zhou Ruyi if she wanted pig red. Zhou Ruyi said, "I want some pork red soup." The proprietress looked at Zhou Ruyi and said to her, "Your pork loin and chicken are also in soup, and your pork belly is in soup. In this way, your belly is full of water. Do you want to die tonight?" Pig red is pig blood. Zhou Ruyi translated the words of the landlady and said, "Pork loin, chicken, and pig red are all soup. If you drink a lot of soup, do you want to sleep tonight?" In the end, it was the landlady who gave them the idea to order braised pig meat with leeks. As soon as their dishes were ordered, the chef came over and took their things to deal with. Zhang Xiangbei and Zhou Ruyi stood and watched for a while. They saw the chef taking 2 small steel pots and starting from the 2. In a large bucket of porridge, mix the white porridge into a small steel pot, then mix the processed pork offal and liver into the porridge, put the porridge on the stove, and start to roll it, while the chef is stirring it with a horse spoon holding a steel pot. The 2 people returned to their table and saw Sun Xiangyang sitting there with a round aluminum basin in front of him. The aluminum basin contained fried dumplings. Sun Xiangyang was eating fried dumplings. The fried dumplings turned out to be a round basin, but now only a semicircle was left. Seeing them arriving, Sun Xiangyang said quickly, "The dumplings stuffed with pork are freshly made and fried. They are so delicious. They are served in a rationed quantity. The lady boss makes them herself. They are gone after you order them. Come on, eat them while they are hot." Zhang Xiangbei sat down, picked up the chopsticks and put one in his mouth. The skin was thin and the filling was rich. It was really delicious, and it needed to be eaten while it was hot. Fatty Sun ate half of the plate before he could stop. Meaning, Joe shouted. Still moving. Fatty Sun chuckled and said, "Okay, I'll save it for you." Joe was eating dumplings and said, "No, the damn boss lady is weighing and ordering over there. How can she have time to make dumplings?" "Fatty, you are tricking us." Fatty Sun said, "That was what their waitress girl said just now. She told me that their boss's wife made the bags herself. She also said that if their boss's wife was unhappy about wrapping them, she would not wrap them. I will think of something else today. There is none left." Joe hit Sun Xiangyang on the head with chopsticks and cursed, "I knew it, it turned out to be a little girl. Do you believe anything the little girl said to you?" Fatty Sun was stunned for a moment and continued to quibble. He said, "Then there can't be two boss wives. This boss is more powerful and has a big and small wife." Immediately hit by another chopstick on the head, Joe shouted, "It's quite luxurious. My wife and I are all here. The people of the world are united. Brothers and sisters in Asia, Africa, and Latin America are one family and live in harmony, right? He is not afraid that they will take over the kitchen, use the kitchen knife inside to chop him into pieces, or chop him into meat paste." Zhang Xiangbei laughed heartily. After he finished laughing, he looked at Joe and then at Sun Xiangyang. Zhang Xiangbei asked, "Something is wrong. Are you two hooking up?" Joe face turned red instantly, and Sun Xiangyang chuckled. "Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes and reading books every day. Thank you Win Sanliu, Windenwing, XXHHLLL, and book friend 2019011025224314 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1991. Zhang Xiangbei looked at Joe and said with a smile, "It's good. I've finally achieved the right result. Besides, you know yourself and the enemy. It's better than finding someone outside who doesn't know the basics." Joe scolded, "You and Xiang Nan don't know the details." Zhang Xiangbei said, "Of course, we are childhood sweethearts, but you can also be regarded as childhood sweethearts and childhood sweethearts who became monks on the way. Come and congratulate you." Zhang Xiangbei raised his cup as he spoke, and Joe and Sun Xiangyang also raised it. Joe was still driving when she went back later. She drank sour plum juice. Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang asked for a shot of beer. They originally wanted 2 shots, one for each, but Joe said that there were so many porridge and pork loin soup. "Want to sleep tonight?" Zhang Xiangbei said with a smile, "Fat people can drink more pork loin soup. Whatever you drink will make up for it." Sun Xiangyang laughed loudly. Joe came to hit Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei quickly said, "Slip of words, slip of speech. The penalty is only 1 shot," Joe said. "The rice rolls came first. Use chopsticks to peel them open. Inside is diced pork neck. Put a chopstick into your mouth. The rice rolls are cooked thoroughly with soy sauce. They are smooth, tough, and a little burnt. Fragrant and indescribably delicious." What came next was leek, pork tenderloin, and pork loin and chicken soup, each with its own merits. Zhang Xiangbei picked up a piece of chicken and put it in his mouth, bit it gently with his teeth, and the chicken burst in his mouth, feeling sour and refreshing. Xiangbei immediately thought of 2 words, one was egg pain and the other was egg cracking. He said these 2 words to Joe and Fatty Sun, and the 2 of them laughed for a while. Fatty Sun imitated Zhang Xiangbei and took one too. Zhang Xiangbei and Joe both stared at him and clearly heard a squeak sound coming from his mouth, and the egg cracked. "Then the balls must hurt." Zhang Xiangbei asked Joe, "Do you dare to try one?" "What's this?" Joe said, I was deceived by Lin Kunfen last time and ate it. He told me it was a bird egg. They are indeed bird eggs, Zhang Xiangbei said, and Fatty Sun chuckled. Zhou Ruyi glared at Zhang Xiangbei and said, "Whatever, I'll tell him to get lost." As she spoke, she put a piece of chicken into her mouth and ate it with relish. Zhang Xiangbei looked at her and said leisurely, "If you get used to eating this, it's easy to bite in the wrong place." Fatty Sun turned his head and spat a mouthful of wine onto the ground with a pop. Zhou Ruyi blushed and cursed. "Zhang Xiangbei, I didn't expect you to be such a gangster now." Zhang Xiangbei pretended to be stupid and said, "No, what did I say? I didn't even say a dirty word." Zhou Ruyi nodded, "You don't say bad words, but your thoughts are very dirty. I will tell Xiang Nan next time." "It doesn't matter, we are an old married couple," Zhang Xiangbei said, "we often talk like this. Why, when you get to bed, you are all discussing philosophy and the meaning of life." When Zhang Xiangbei was talking, he remembered what Wen Wen said, and he couldn't help but smile as future generations did not just shout slogans. Zhou Ruyi shook her head, it collapsed. "Zhang Xiangbei, you are no longer the Zhang Xiangbei who stood there and held the rubber band for us." "Yeah, well, if Fatty and I are still like that, you will have committed a crime and seduced Fatty," a minor Zhang Xiangbei said. In this round, Zhang Xiangbei won completely. The three people, mainly Zhang Xiangbei and Zhou Ruyi, were bickering and seemed tense, but in fact they were enjoying themselves in their hearts. Fatty Sun talks less now, probably because he is afraid of being hit on the head with chopsticks. He is no longer like before, quarreling with Zhou Ruyi whenever he meets her, or standing or sitting next to Zhou Ruyi. Fatty Sun has a slightly lowered eyebrow. Listening to the two of them bickering, he could only stand on the sidelines, sometimes standing next to Zhou Ruyi, sometimes standing next to Zhang Xiangbei. Next came the fried rice noodles with noodles and meat. Zhang Xiangbei tasted it and said it was delicious. Zhou Ruyi told him that the porridge was coming soon, so he should save some time. Zhang Xiangbei said, "My stomach has been empty since noon, and it is still empty." Zhou Ruyi let him continue to eat rice noodles. The two portions of porridge were served together. The porridge has turned into a transparent rice paste, with chopped green onion and shredded ginger sprinkled inside. All the pig offal, whether it is pork liver, whether it is TNT Qian Sheng Chong rice roll, intestines, etc., are also in the porridge. It turned white and almost transparent. Zhou Ruyi scooped a bowl of pig offal porridge for Zhang Xiangbei, and Zhang Xiangbei took a sip. The porridge was a bit sweet, and the fresh pork offal had no smell at all. It was delicious and smooth, making it unforgettable in the mouth. Zhang Xiangbei pushed the wine glass to the side, as if he was about to start a big battle to drink porridge. He drank 3 bowls of pig offal porridge before he felt a little satisfied. Then he drank pork liver porridge, which was a bit coquettish. The taste is just right. After 4 bowls of porridge, I feel comfortable all over and my stomach is a little bloated. Zhou Ruyi kept asking if it tasted good, and Zhang Xiangbei kept nodding. Fatty Sun sat on the edge. No one asked him, and he kept shouting, "It's delicious, it's delicious, it's delicious." Zhang Xiangbei looked at the porridge pot in front of him. He thought of the Dongguo whole pig he had eaten in Shaoguang. He felt that the same pork offal was processed in 2 completely different styles in the north and the south. One was rich and the other was authentic. For Zhang Xiangbei, for people with stomachs in the north, those in Shaoguang are suitable to be given with wine, while those here are suitable to be given with words. Zhou Ruyi brought Zhang Xiangbei a plate of millet and pepper dipping sauce. She pointed at the porridge pot and said to Zhang Xiangbei, "The raw intestines here can be eaten with dipping sauce. It's particularly delicious." Zhang Xiangbei followed his instructions and took a piece of raw intestine, dipped it in the dipping sauce, and put it in his mouth. He bit it into his mouth and it was very chewy. Zhou Ruyi lowered her head, stared at Zhang Xiangbei, and asked him, Is it yummy? It's delicious, Zhang Xiangbei said. Isn't it particularly delicious? Zhang Xiangbei nodded and said, yes. Zhang Xiangbei, I didn't expect you to like eating the fallopian tubes of sows so much. As soon as Zhou Ruyi finished speaking, Fatty Sun made another poof sound. This time, a mouthful of porridge sprayed all over the floor, and then he burst into laughter. Zhang Xiangbei stared at Zhou Ruyi. The raw intestine in his mouth was not good if he swallowed it, and it was not good if he didn't swallow it. He knew that Zhou Ruyi was taking revenge on the chicken in front of him. Zhang Xiangbei paused for a moment and continued to bite the empty intestines. After a while, he swallowed the raw intestines and said to Zhou Ruyi, I didn't expect the fallopian tube to be so delicious. Next time I'm going to eat the baby's placenta. Disgusting, Zhou Ruyi cursed angrily, and Zhang Xiangbei laughed proudly. The last thing that came out was a large plate of steamed pork ribs with black bean sauce. The chef put the unused pork offal in the porridge and steamed it together. At this time, Zhang Xiangbei's stomach was a little full from the porridge, but he still started eating and resisted. I can't resist this temptation. At about the same time as steamed pork ribs with black bean sauce, there was a call from Wu Huan. Wu Huan had arrived in Shenzhen, and he was having supper with Lin Kunfen and the others. When they arrived in southern cities, it seemed like the whole day would not be complete without supper. It doesn't make sense. Lin Kunfen knew that Zhang Xiangbei and the others were also having a midnight snack, so he shouted, let me guess, it's either Bei Road or Ziwa Road, right, Mr. Zhang? Zhang Xiangbei pulled the camera away, and Lin Kunfen saw it at a glance and shouted. Haha, have you gone to Shan? Stop watching, stop watching. If you continue to watch, I won't be able to eat anymore. After hanging up Wu Huan's call, Wen Wen and Li Wei's calls came in again. They were still busy in the unit. Zhang Xiangbei couldn't bear to let them see so many delicious foods. He stood up and walked out, squatting video chat with them on the side of the road and listened to their reports on the current situation in the company in Beijing and Hangzhou. After returning from the video, they felt there was room in their stomachs again. Zhang Xiangbei and Fatty Sun continued to drink, and Zhou Ruyi also allowed them to have a second shot. Zhang Xiangbei's cell phone rang. It was Gu Gong. This time, Zhang Xiangbei didn't stand up and walk out. Instead, he opened the video and told Gu Gong that he was having a late-night snack. The pig offal porridge here was so delicious. I never knew that pork offal could be so delicious when it's fresh. Gu Gong asked Zhang Xiangbei to take pictures of each dish for him. He asked Zhang Xiangbei to get closer and closer, and then kept asking Zhang Xiangbei questions. The ginger in the porridge was the result of Gu Gong's question. Yes, he then asked, is there any pepper? Zhang Xiangbei said he couldn't taste it. Where's the baking soda? I mean in the porridge, Gu Gong said, and Zhang Xiangbei said, I don't know that either. Okay, I'll give it a try when you and I return to Hangzhou. You can taste the difference. Our offal is also very fresh. It comes directly from the slaughterhouse every day. It only takes an hour in between. There's no problem at all. No, Gu Gong said. Before Zhang Xiangbei said anything, Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang became interested. Zhou Ruyi shouted, Gu Gong, you are saying that you can make such delicious porridge in Hangzhou, is it true? It should be possible, Gu Gong said. Unfortunately, when I went to Guangzhou last time, you didn't take me to try it. Once I taste it, I will know how it is made, and I will be 100% sure. Zhou Ruyi said a little embarrassedly, weren't you busy last time? It takes more than an hour to get here from the company. Gu Gong, if you come in a few days, I will definitely bring you here. Okay, then I will make the same delicious porridge in Hangzhou, so that you can open the same porridge shop, Gu Gong said. The three of them returned to the logistics space. The workshop was still brightly lit. Zhang Xiangbei wanted to visit the workshop, but Zhou Ruyi said no, Let's do it tomorrow. Why? Zhang Xiangbei asked, confused. Zhou Ruyi said, you too smell of alcohol. Are you going now to intensify the conflict between labor and capital? The workers are still busy in the early hours of the morning. Seeing two drunk guys coming in, will there be evil capitalists? Sense of déjà vu. Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang laughed, but they felt that Zhou Ruyi's words made sense. Going to the workshop with this image was indeed a bit hummed up. When he arrived in Guangzhou, Zhang Xiangbei did not stay in a hotel. Instead, he told Sun Xiangyang on the phone that he could just stay in his dormitory. If there was a bed, he would sleep on the sofa. If there was no bed, he would sleep on the sofa. If there was no sofa, he would sleep on the floor. Sun Xianjiang's dormitory was in the same house as Zhou Ruyi, with 2 rooms and 1 living room. Zhou Ruyi had a room, and Sun Xiangyang had a room. When Zhang Xiangbei came, Sun Xiangyang made another bed in the room. In Guangzhou in December, the daytime temperature is more than 20 degrees and the nighttime is more than 10 degrees Celsius. In Lao Guang's opinion, it is already freezing. He put on his down jacket and covered himself with a duvet, but for Zhang Xiangbei and others, people who come from colder places find this temperature and climate very pleasant. A straw mat and an air-conditioned quilt are enough at night. As soon as she entered the room, Zhou Ruyi got into her room and took a shower. Hers was the master bedroom with a bathroom inside. Zhang Xiangbei and Fatty Sun had to go to the bathroom connected to the living room outside to take a shower. Zhang Xiangbei returned to the room after taking a shower and told Sun Xiangyang that it was your turn. Sun Xiangyang said that he would wait a moment and there was no rush. Zhang Xiangbei sat on his bed and stared at Sun Xianjiang's bed opposite. He saw that the quilts on Sun Xianjiang's bed were neatly folded. He thought to himself, this fat man has changed so much. When did he become so neat? Sun Xiangyang became uncomfortable when he saw Zhang Xiangbei staring at his bed. Zhang Xiangbei looked at him and suddenly realized, no wonder he said he was not in a hurry. It's not that he was not in a hurry, but he was embarrassed. Zhang Xiangbei asked. Fat man, when I'm not here, won't you sleep here at night? Sun Xiangyang chuckled. Zhang Xiangbei scolded, go away, I asked you, fat man, how can you be so honest? Why the hell are you even bothering to make a bed for me? Can't I just sleep on your bed? Go away, don't be embarrassed, it doesn't matter if you make noise at night, I sleep deeply, you can't wake me up. Thank you Zipanjiang 1, Tianwei Y, Book Friends 202010270333327244, Book Friends 20181130105305305944 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.